Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by regular co-host, a Mr.
Handy Conduit-Turner in live from London, or if you're looking at the video, Glasgow Necropolis. How you doing, Ben?
Glasgow Necropolis. I'm doing well. I thought you said Handy Conduit-Turner then, which would be...
just a little speech infection. I can start again if you want. But
I bet you are.
People will know.
People will know. People won't go, who? I've never heard about this.
Is this character like that Scooby-Doo one that's a different colour and he's got a southern accent like that?
Oh yeah, exactly
like me. But if I do like crafts on a children's television program, but otherwise identical.
Yeah, exactly like that. Plus, we're joined by a very, very special returning guest. It is Emma Cownley. She's a freelance writer for music and lifestyle brands, horror-spondent, and regular horror hanger interloper / friend of the show. I checked to see how I introduced you last time, and that's what I said. Welcome back to the show, Emma. Hello.
Hey, thanks for your consistency in my intro. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want consistency. That's the one thing I want and need. If I say co-host and he says Handy Conduit-Turner, that's not consistent for me. And then he has to call that out.
But we're still talking about it, like
exactly. I have to call out. I do hate people who do that though. When you make a slight slip up and someone just goes, "Sorry, excuse me, did you just?"
Is it like you saying that again properly?
Could you just?
What did I say?
I have to out it, and even if I'm the one who makes a mistake, I have to out it. I have to go. Look.
The ultimate defense for that, everyone, if you're listening at home, is to quite simply say, "I've heard it both ways," and then you're good to go.
Oh Jesus!
Heard it both ways.
What are we saying here? Handy Andy. Wait, that was that fella from Changing Rooms.
It was.
What's he up to these days?
I'd imagine
building some shit out of MDF, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves that.
Probably. He loves it. It's an in-demand skill. They might have had him over in Australia or something. He might be living it up.
Let's find out after this. But I thought thank you for joining us, Emma. Lovely to have you on the show as always. We're talking about FrightFest Glasgow this week. We're not officially there in person, but you two attended. I didn't. I stayed at home in my pants with my hand in a jar full of honey and
watched a few screeners.
Yes. But luckily I've seen probably as many of the films as you guys have, so that's good.
Emma and I put the hard yards in. We went out there. We were in Glasgow. We travelled all the way up.
Yeah, we were boots on the ground. Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
Didn't really filming live there, mostly because I need you to work the camera equipment for me properly, Ben. I can't do it by myself.
Yeah, but you said that Ben has all the equipment. You didn't have any.
He does have the good gimbal and the good.
He's got a good gimbal and he's got a crap gimbal, the one with the wonky arms. No,
yeah, exactly. Got the light on it.
It's a lot of work. I feel like to do it. I feel like just yeah, it's a lot of work.
And the FrightFest Glasgow schedule, as good as it is, and the fact that it gives you the opportunity to see everything, you don't get a lot of wiggle room, especially if you stay for the Q&A. It's like, right, 15 minutes, have a look at yourself in a mirror, splash some water on your face, get back in.
Yeah, I was surviving on mini cheddars by the end of it, and I was too scared to ask anyone to fill up my water bottle, so I just dehydrated.
Just quietly dehydrated in your seat.
She looked at a maroon at the back of the fucking cinema.
I'd have come up.
Another mini cheddar
for you, but I'd have come to the bar with you and gone, go on, ask the man.
Oh, we had a horrible moment like that at the beginning where I got the guy to put my wristbands on and
it's for your wristband.
And it wasn't even his job to put them on. I just thought he was offering to do it. I put my hand out like an idiot. Then he put it on too loosely and it came right off. And I had to queue up again with Andy. And then I had to tell Andy everything that I was going to say to the man, just so that he knew what to expect. And then I had to ask for it.
So it didn't wrestle you to the ground and say, you can't say that.
It is difficult. These social interactions are difficult though, because there are a few things that always get me. I mean, not so much anymore because I'm a follically challenged man. But when you go in for a haircut, you just go, one haircut, please. Well, don't you want them all cut? Oh, fucking hell. Oh, Jesus. Or like,
I know what you mean though. When the hairdresser asks you what you want, I was like, you just make my hair better than it is now.
You just go, can I have my ears lowered, please? That's what Andy says. I was getting when I go swimming, because swimming's a weird one. can I do a swimming, please? Can I do a
One adult swim.
Yeah, because you have got to say adult swim. You're like, I am an adult. Come on. I've changed it now. I say one lane swim, please. And they know exactly what I mean. So. And they know that I'm
They've
not
got the
going.
training, haven't they?
They know I'm not going in the kiddie pool. That's what they think. Anyway, Emma, I hope when you were in FrightFest, you did face the screen at least, because at the moment you just look like you're just looking at the black ball.
Yeah, I did. I did face the screen.
That's good. That's good.
Most of the time.
How are the vibes? Obviously, I've only attended once. I was getting a bit of FOMO. It is a good time, obviously.
It's cozy. People are friendly. We had, some nice chats with some nice people.
The first time you've been to FrightFest Glasgow, Emma?
It was my first time, yeah.
It was your first time, right? Okay.
And I only felt confident because Andy said he was going. And so that's why I went, because I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to know one person, so it's not as scary to go all that way on my own.
But you didn't sit together, so you sort of saw at the back of Andy's head from afar.
Yeah, we both need independence, don't we?
Yeah.
Both...
You need your mini cheddar time.
Yeah.
Andy needs to practice what he's going to get for a haircut. I imagine the back of Andy's head is quite a emotive back of head, though. I reckon you could understand what he was thinking or feeling just from looking at the back of his head.
I mean, I don't really like that much time to it, but I'm sure, yeah, I would have, known his shoulders and his...
The shoulders are going,
yeah.
Because in one of the films, he did have to lean forward to stay awake.
Yeah. Did you? You had to lock in?
That was, yeah, I did have to lock in.
All right, that's it.
I had to really lock in because it was after we had popped out for a little break between films. There was a film we weren't going to catch, so we went and a little drink, had a little...
We had a boozy dinner, all right. We had a boozy dinner, and then we couldn't be good film reviewers.
Giggling. You were giggling during the film, weren't you? That's what you were doing.
It wasn't funny in any way.
It wasn't a gig.
Exactly.
No, that's not the wrong though.
People like you.
Once we cover the content, Ben, if you were laughing at that, I think you probably need an arresting.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, mutilated vaginas.
just in a jar in your garden.
Sorry.
Way.
I didn't mean to cough over that. But it was a well-placed cough, as you said.
Stifled.
I heard you start to say mute. Oh God, no. Everyone.
We'll get demonetized quick.
Demonetized.
Just joking, everybody. We are not monetized.
Not after the last incident, Andy. But yeah, it was. Is that you've been to Glasgow before, though? Am I right? Have you?
No.
Yeah, it was your first time in Glasgow as well.
It's better as well.
I found it. So it was my first time I went to Glasgow when I went to FrightFest Glasgow last year. I feel like I did miss a lot because I felt like I was just pretty much on one street, which is like got a Greg's, a Tesco, and a cinema.
Yeah,
that's
exactly what happened. I didn't even know there was a necropolis. Otherwise, I definitely would have checked that out.
Yeah.
Glasgow is a really fun city. You are just in, because there aren't massive gaps, you are just in one sort of L-shaped corner of it, though. But it's a fun city. I find it. I mean, it's a smaller event than the FrightFest London event, but I feel it's less overwhelming when you go outside because the street is just normal.
Oh yeah.
There's no one doing some weird street performance the second you step out the cinema.
I hate those street performers so much. I hate them.
Oh, they're just trying to make a living. Come on. No.
And then you walk a few more steps, there's someone banging on about the bloody Lord.
Yeah. Someone like about the Lord. I do enjoy it when you've got like some sort of like breakdancing dude, or some sort of what looks like a flash mob.
Someone who can do good bird impressions.
Oh yeah,
Michael Winslow from Police Academy doing a helicopter.
See there, chilling out. I just feel like as soon as I step out of that cinema, FrightFest, Odeon or whatever, and as soon as I hear someone singing an Ed Sheeran song, I'm brought right back down to earth. Bang.
Yeah, you're there going, oh, I've just watched a terrifying film about some ghosts or maybe a zombie or a murderer, and then all of a sudden,
when your legs don't work like they used to before.
I was gonna go for Galway Girl being on the one that also feels a bit cultural appropriatory, and I was like, oh.
yeah.
Calls her a pretty little Galway girl. Come on, Ed. Do better, mate.
Oh, just
You're a
short.
Brit Award-winning artist.
Just 5'2", that's all. Emma, I've got a question for you. You've been on the show a few times. We've started implementing.
You have to warn people, Ben.
No, I don't. I like to hit people. See, like,
You're not going to hit me, are you?
I'm not going to hit you. No. I like to hit people with it because then.
God, I love to hit people.
I like to hit people. You really know where you stand with someone and they react to a punch. No, I would never. Horror Mount Rushmore. Your horror Mount Rushmore, Emma. We've been discussing.
What would you call that, Ben, if you were making that into a single phrase?
Horror. No. Mount Rush horror. Do you like
How
that?
many spots are there on Mount Rushmore?
4.
There are 4.
For
We start.
Who are you? You
start
can
off with
chisel on
films.
anyone you want. You can do
Yeah.
a film title. You can do a director. You could do an actor. You could do a character.
Oh, what is your problem? As if you're going to just like throw that down.
Are you going to chisel? I know. This is Ben's biggest. I almost texted you today, Emma, and told you that this would happen, but I know.
I'm going to think about this like into the night, and then tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be like, why did you say that, you idiot?
Why did you say Winnie the Pooh from Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey? And why did you say that? No.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So Scream is definitely on there. The first Scream.
Should we just put Ghostface up there?
Yeah. Put Ghostface up there. And then for the second one, I want In the Company of Wolves. You know when that guy, where the wolf is coming out of his mouth on the
God, yeah.
cover? That should be on there because that film is incredible and it's like one of my favorite films of all time. And the special effects are so impactful, so I feel like that has to be the image. And then I think,
Oh yeah. I just remember what that cover is, and yeah.
yeah, I am
As
in love
effective.
with that film in a big way. Yeah, I think
Chisel, I think.
we should put Coralie Farger on there
Nice.
just for the substance alone.
Mm.
And how many is other got one more spot?
On one more spot. I can imagine she'd look cool on there as well. I'm not stereotyping because she's French. Imagine she'd have a little cigarette, just be
And a glass of wine, yeah.
looking
Next,
at
dusty face and a man with a wolf erupting out of his mouth. I think,
Yeah.
it's so
It's
difficult.
hard. I should have warned you. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
kind of like this. Like your first instincts are usually the best, right?
I'm going to put Clive Barker on there.
Big Clive.
the bookman.
The bookman. That Scouse fella.
Yeah. Like one
Would
of
he
the
go for?
to come out of Liverpool along with Mel C.
Would he do Clive Barker today or like 80s Clive Barker?
I'm going to do 1987 Clive Barker. Hellraiser Clive Barker.
Okay.
Hellraiser directing Clive Barker.
Yeah.
He was moving then as if he was literally drawing it in Microsoft Paint as we spoke. He was like, "Yep,
But they are drawn out. Yeah.
So that's 4, right? I've done it.
Yeah.
here you go."
I like it. That's good. That's good.
Oh, I will be thinking about this for days and weeks.
We started off doing it as films, but I think what we want to do is like every time there's a guest on the show, that gives us and our listener, that's right, one person. It gives us and our listener
wait,
a
but
chance.
Shirley Jackson.
Oh, okay. See, but we could go on forever, you know. I mean, get the chisel out. You can have a 5th one on there.
Okay.
Where do you know?
No, do you know what? It's best to move on from this segment because otherwise I'm going to just...
Yeah, forever.
We're going to get voice notes, Ben, saying, "Can you please
That'd be
dub
fun,
this
yeah.
into what I said instead?"
Yeah.
I'll dub we'll edit the voice note in here where she said where you say I'm at least 20 other things, 20 other people.
When we get like a file from you that says Mount Rush Horror, final, use this one in brackets 3.
I don't think I could do it. We haven't done it yet, Andy. We'll do it one day.
We'll do one day, but no putting this on the spot.
Wait. So you've asked it of me, but you've not even done it.
Yeah, because we're in control. We're in control. This is it. Do I like?
Okay.
I could edit a little silly out on you if I wanted to, but I wouldn't. But I wouldn't. I'm in control. Keep saying that. I like it. It gives our listeners, I think, an idea of where you're coming from.
Maybe they're
So
doing-
basically like
Oh.
a disgusting pervert. That's what mine says about me.
Well,
Yeah, bondage horror daddy.
who's to say?
Like
Bitch horror daddy. Don't have to call me that on podcast recording. I said already.
that's
Ben is
not
staring.
my name.
Ben is starring as Daddy in the new
Daddy again.
People Under the Stairs remake from Jordan Peele.
I cry when I have a paper.
Jordan Peele. No.
Exactly. But yeah, thank you. It's a good diverse four up there, I would say,
Yeah.
And in terms of diverse, like a wolf coming out of a man's face
Yeah.
is
Impactful.
impactful. It's as impactful as you can get, exactly. Okay. Should we do a little bit of horror news before we
What's in the news, Ben?
FrightFest Glasgow. So recently we covered Train to Busan on this show, just back in January. The director, Yeon Sang-ho, is making a new zombie movie. Now, I'm going to say it's called Gunche. It could be Gunch. I'm going to say Gunche. What do you think, Andy? I don't know. Don't laugh at that.
Go with Gunche.
Yeah, Gunche. Sounds better, doesn't it? Gunch. What do you feel is called Gunch?
So if you punch someone with a gun, you've been gunched.
It means colony in a biological context. Interesting. So I'm assuming some sort of living zombie colony. I don't know. Just moving towards you,
like the
critters.
flies that like the flies in Amityville Horror that can form into like a fist and get you.
Yeah, like Green Lantern style. Bang.
Yeah.
I mean, this will be interesting. Obviously, Train to Busan still getting an English language remake, I believe. Last Train to New York. And there was the sequel to Train to Busan Peninsula, which wasn't so great. It was a bit action heavy for my liking. But yeah, you know what? It's a great take on the zombie genre. If that director would like to do another one, let's have it. Do you like Train to Busan,
Yeah.
Emma? Are you a fan?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I think it's great. I don't think we need an American version by any means.
No.
At all. But yeah, great fun.
Yeah.
Read subtitles for once in your bloody lives, or
Yeah, fucking hell.
have like, you know what? Not going to be a dubbing snob. If you want it to be dubbed, do that.
I find that off-putting though, don't you?
Like I think over the millions and millions of dollars to make a film almost shot for shot and to try and make it relatable because it's in American now. Guess what? They've got trains in Korea. And if you listen to the episode, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I've been on trains in both of those countries. Korean ones are better. Sorry, America. You're going to have to get used to it.
Eat shit, America. I did like your stories of going on the, what was it called?
On the KTX,
On
my
what?
very own Train to Busan, Emma. Shame you weren't here to hear it firsthand, but it's a glorious ride. No zombies there in real life, obviously, but it's a lovely time.
It's a lovely ride.
Sometimes you have a little ice cream.
On the K train. Oh wait, that sounds like you're on drugs. In a K hole on the K.
You're on the K train to Holsville.
Yeah, the K hole is what they call it when it goes through a tunnel.
Is he all right now? He's just on a K. What? Excuse me? No. Sticking with zombies. Let's stick with zombies. Have you had enough of Resident Evil films / TV shows yet? Me,
Hope not. There's more.
big fan of Resident Evil mainly in game form, but still, I'm not sick of it. I do keep thinking maybe the next one will be a bit better. But Zach Kreger, the director of Barbarian, is releasing a new Resident Evil movie. We've got a release date, September 18th, 2026. And he has kind of said the same thing that everyone says, so I'm not holding up too many high hopes. But he's like, it's going back to the horror roots of the games, focused on the first couple of games. And I think he said something about being a fan of the games as well, which again everyone says. So
Also, super hot take. Incredibly popular video game franchise that's been running for over 20 years. A lot of people have played it. It's not like, it's a bit like, can you imagine if someone was adapting anything else, any other medium that wasn't video games, like any piece of literature or everything else. Imagine them saying like, "Actually, I've been reading books for a number of years." Of course, you bloody have. I actually
a number of years. I like books.
I've set this story that I'm telling on the planet Earth because I've lived there for a number of years actually. And I feel I've really got that experience that I can bring to life. Yeah, I know. Video games super popular, super well established. It's not niche that you liked them.
I mean, it reeks of desperation to appear to be the most logical choice for that adaptation, doesn't it? Like, all right, we believe you. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But then again,
Name 5 songs.
name 5
Exactly.
early songs from Resident Evil. We got the save theme for the first game, save theme for the second game. Save
Favorite room, Ben? Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I could. It's the lovely when you go in the safe room.
Oh,
Really takes a weight off your shoulders. That ding a ding a ding a ding. Yeah. Oh, what a time. What's your favorite 3 items? First aid spray, obviously.
The bloody Colt Python packs a punch, mate, doesn't it?
Save your bullets though. Don't waste them. Save them for the last boss, aka never use.
The little canister of like petroleum that you have to burn the bodies with in the remake of the first game. That's handy. Don't want a
You'll be up
coming out here.
You'll be up to direct it in no time, Ben.
I will.
But your turn soon. They've only got so many professional filmmakers.
Exactly, you have to go for everyone. And in 20 years' time, they go, who's that lad who was on a horror podcast for 1,000 episodes? Get him in. He's qualified.
Stop the experience. Also, I've said it before, maybe only to you, Ben, but I'll make sure we've definitely said it on record. I don't need you to adapt the plot of that game, which I hear is getting another remake, so I'll be able to play it again. Just give me an anthology. Give me a proper anthology story where you take there is a city that loads of zombies are all over. Oh no, here are 3 or 4 stories of different people with the monsters and the zombies and the setting, but you can tell me a new story. Maybe some of them are fine, and maybe you bring them into a game at some point if it does well. Maybe some of them you kill off because you don't have to keep them alive because they're a main character, and remove any kind of stakes from the movie. Anthology movie. Ask the people that do the VHS films to put one together, and you could have your little setting and your little setup could be one of your beloved franchise characters going in and finding in the orgy of evidence room at the end of the game where you've got loads of things to read, and they could just be reading all those files.
I like that. A much smaller budget than the money they're obviously going to throw at this. Talking of Resident Evil and Paul W.S. Anderson, has anybody seen the trailer for that new film that he's made with his wife, Mila Jovovich, of course, and Dave Bautista? I don't think it's a horror film as such. It's called In the Lost Lands. Has anybody seen the trailer for this? Holy shit. Oh, man.
I've seen a review of the film.
Oh, have you? Please enlighten me.
They were not very kind about it.
The trailer, right? The trailer, showed the whole film. No word of a lie.
I hate it when they do that.
It was ridiculous to a point where, like, major character, like, I don't think this is much of a, well, it kind of is a spoiler. I'm not going to say who the characters are. There's a moment where it looks like two characters stab each other in the neck. That's in the trailer. It's like, that's going to be a bit in the film you go, oh my God, what's going to happen next?
Maybe they get better from it.
Anyway, it looks like proper new metal music video. The sets look like, the Linkin Park video in the end. You know that? Yeah. It looks like that. It looks like that.
No.
And there's like so many like one-liners from Mila Jovovich and like her kind of like kicking ass, and it's fine. And Batista doing Batista things, but still.
I'm now just imagining. I feel like I can do the trailer in my mind, and now I'm just thinking of in the end,
literally
with them doing
the poster. Look for the poster, and it's got like it feels like it rips off so many things. I mean, it's like you got this main character who's like a gunslinger, and Mila Jovovich is some mysterious, potentially supernatural woman of, I don't know. She's got like sort of writing on her face. Maybe she's some sort of priestess. I don't know. It looks. If you could say to me who directed this, absolutely. I mean, even without seeing Mila Jovovich, I would know just from Yeah.
Who is it who, when they were accepting an award at an award ceremony like recently, they said that there are no mid-budget films anymore, and for the cost of some of these massive expensive films, they could make like 2 or 3 mid-budget films that are like really, really good, and no one's giving anybody in that like bracket a chance. I'd have to agree based on that fucking pile of shit.
They're giving one person a chance, Emma. Paul W.S. Anderson. And the thing is, I don't know if this is going to be the case of it, but with the Resident Evil films, the reality is you made a bloody fortune out of them. I think it's $1 billion franchise. I think they made...
This isn't going to make anything, though, surely.
Because you know what? So when the star of the movies... When the star of your movie's your wife, probably gives you mates rates on that as well.
Yeah. I don't... Yeah. Again, no. It does make me kind of want to see it, which is what's annoying, isn't it? Like, I want to... Yeah. In the annals of cinematic misadventures is how this one review starts. So, it's based on some sort of George R.R. Martin thing as well. I've just remembered.
He'll do anything not to finish those Game of Thrones books, won't he?
He will.
It's like a Patrick Rothfuss. Give us the 3rd book, you bastard! Like, it's been years.
I actually know what's going to happen in the next book. It's all up here. I enjoy it every night. I go, yeah, that's a great bit. That is.
That's my bedtime story. I just sit there and I know it word for word. So I don't even think I read it out to myself every night before bed. But I'll never put a book out of it. And now the TV show has spoiled it anyway. No, sorry, I didn't watch the last few series, George. Just put it out.
The last bit of news I'll talk about. I don't mean to stick with video game adaptations, but The Last of Us season 2, like actual decent length trailer is out now. It looks bloody lovely. It looks good. I mean, again, I think this is a thing which does well enough to go, well, all right, we're going to recreate these exact moments from the game, but also we're going to pad it out with enough original stuff and good human storytelling that's going to make it really, really enjoyable.
Don't need to watch the trailer. Going to watch the show though. Did you watch the first series of The Last of Us, Emma?
No, I didn't, because I don't have the streaming platform that it's on. But I did hear, rather terrifyingly, that you know how those mushrooms actually do exist in real life.
Yep.
But the human body runs too hot for them to actually work on us. But because of global warming, it's changing everything, and there could come a time in the future where those
That's how they
mushrooms will actually
That's how they do it in the series. They make James Nesbitt of all people tells us about about the global warming impact as well. So everyone, I'll share something I've learned in my day job today. Actually, if you want to prevent The Last of Us Part 1 or 2 happening to you in your life.
Wait, did they say that in the conference that you were at?
No.
Right, was their lecture was if you want to prevent.
They said the next bit though, which you can save yourself money on your household bills and help protect the environment with a small step. It is perfectly acceptable for your freezer to be running at -15. Your food will still be perfectly safe and cold. Most freezers by default set to 18. Get and turn that up a couple of degrees. Save yourself some money on your bills. Do your bit for the planet.
Yeah. I don't have a freezer, so
you're doing even better.
Way better. 15 degrees better per second. Well done.
Yeah, but I do have a fireplace with like the log fireplace. So
constantly burning though, like a freezer.
like a steam ship.
I wonder what you're going to say then.
Shoveling like dogs on into the fire.
I've got a massive industrial sized laser that I just shoot into the sky 5 times a night. But I've got a nuclear reactor power and that's just fine. Don't worry about it. It's sustainable.
Yeah, I just send frivolous things to ChatGPT all the time.
Please look at Google, but
yeah.
Things like
Dear ChatGPT, please work out to the 100 millionth decimal how much energy you're using every second. Repeat for infinity. Just doing that.
Wow.
So we've done a little bit. I'm not going to watch the new Last of Us trailer, but I'm going to watch.
No. I don't think you need to. I was kind of just, I don't know. I was a little bit curious, so I thought, check it out. Okay, that's all I got for horror news. All I've got, and I would say what you've been watching, but I guess it's going to be mostly FrightFest Glasgow stuff, unless you've got another Friday the 13th episode to discuss, Andy.
Well, Ben, I couldn't possibly go for another week.
Good.
I am staying in a hotel this week, so for a work conference. But this morning, I woke up nice and early, and before I headed in, I watched episode 7 of Friday the 13th, the series. This episode called Dr. Jack. Do you wanna hazard a guess about what happens in this one?
Right. So if they're trying to get back some sort of haunted stethoscope, it's gonna be that, isn't it? It's gonna be that. Are you looking at me?
No, not quite.
Is it a haunted item that they sold, or is it a haunted item that was sold before? Because I'm sick of them doing that in this show.
It was a haunted item that was sold before.
Ridiculous. It's not their problem.
But it's a haunted. I'm not sure I've had a chance to tell you about the good word about Friday the 13th, the series, but contemporary series, brand new, hot off the press, ran between 1987 and 1990.
72
an obscene amount of episodes. How many episodes, Ben?
72.
72 episodes. So far, episode 7, no Jasons in it yet, no Friday the 13th, apart from one mention that the date was coming up. But in this episode 7, our heroes, they're now after a scalpel that was, we see this, it's a scalpel that was owned by
It was
Jack the Ripper.
Wait, so is every episode like a fetch quest?
Yes. There's like a
Oh, end.
Well, it's a couple of cousins. Their uncle used to own a curiosity shop selling absolutely shitloads of cursed items, and now their mission is to get them all back with their old friend, with an old man who's their friend. I say an old man; he's probably 45, called Jack.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's Mickey and Ryan are here.
But every item is like pretty much it's a haunted thing, and you're like, well, what can that possibly do? And it's always exactly what you think.
This feels kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen, but like with less demons and
less demons.
There could be some demons, not demon today, in this one. So it's a very Jack the Ripper-ish character. There's a man, a very New Yorky man, is selling some flowers by the side of the street, and it begins with a man coming up to him going, "Can you break a 20?" He's like, "Get out of here, you know, tell her that the First National Bank." And then a guy called Jack the Ripper, a man, mysteriously, like with a coat up to it, you know, a scarf up to his eyes and a hat pulled down over the other side, comes to buy some flowers. The $20 bill in his hand happens to drift out of his hand and flutter into an alleyway. And then when the man goes to get it, psych, it was just a trick. He turns and slashes his throat in the thing, kills him off. Some people chase after him, and because it's a magic scalpel, when he runs down the alley to a dead end, he's also able to chop through the bars of the gate and escape. Because this scalpel, Ben, it can cut anything. And then we also very quickly learn there is no mystery to it whatsoever. They find out that the uncle sold it to a bloke. They go and see the bloke and blackmail him into telling them who he sold it to. And it's, I sold it to this famous surgeon. And he also uses the scalpel to do seemingly impossible surgeries that save people's lives.
Oh.
Yeah.
So swings and roundabouts. And then the team go to the hospital and confront this surgeon with
still got watch it.
Yeah. This is only the setup, Ben. This is the first 10 minutes, mate.
Oh, God.
Don't you worry. There's trauma, there's drama. Our friend Jack, the real Jack, he undertakes some injury and is the enemy with his magic. Is he gonna have to operate to save his life? Big stakes in this one.
Oh God.
And also underneath the hospital for it. Do you ever notice this? Anytime there's a program that has a hospital in it, the lower floors of the hospital, scary, full of graffiti and just detritus everywhere. Not a professional environment at all.
Haunted.
That happens. And there's also just a third faction in there, in that there is a woman who believes, correctly, that the doctor with the magic scalpel killed her daughter, so is just literally running around the hospital trying to murder him with a gun.
Jesus.
It's another wild episode, everybody.
Is Mickey's husband been contacted? Yeah, I'm worried about him.
Mickey's fiance, Ben. The wedding hasn't happened.
Sorry.
She's still. It's not a done deal. There's still a chance. No, Mickey's fiance has neither appeared or been mentioned.
He's had enough. He's
He's still at the company picnic, mate. From episode 1.
Yeah, I think I'm on. I don't think I've watched another episode since last week, so I do need to catch up.
I mean, there is I would love to spoil for you. I don't want to spoil the episode, Ben, when you inevitably watch it. But the joke, the sort of Thundercats, everyone laughs at the ending that they always do, is perhaps one of the darkest but best final jokes.
It ends on a freeze frame as well.
Yeah, it ends on a wicked freeze frame. But the joke is perhaps one of the darkest jokes of all time.
Well, I'm looking forward to that as well.
It's not actually that, but it's just very funny.
You've got the DVD box set as well now. So
I have got the DVD box set now. Yeah, physical copy.
Oh yeah. Anything else you've seen this week? Is that
no?
it?
All FrightFest content all the time.
Anything that you wanted to mention, Emma? Has it just been FrightFest?
I would like a quick mention. Let me just Google who the director was. So when I was hanging around waiting for my ticket for FrightFest on Friday,
This is your French film.
I accidentally ended up in a screening for free of Raw.
Raw. Oh yeah.
Julia Ducournau.
Yeah, the director of Titan, right?
Yes. And it was about a veterinary student who turns into a cannibal.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it. It was so clever. It had all these fantastic interlinking themes that kind of are like callbacks and call for, but like you have to be paying attention to actually like be like, oh, because she and you multi-layered, beautiful. I loved it.
How did that happen? Where was this? Was this literally just around the corner? Was it?
Yeah, so I was in a coffee shop on the corner that's got all glass on both sides, right? Having my breakfast, as you do. I see everyone lining up outside the cinema, and I was like, it's 10 a.m. and I'm pretty sure they told me that I couldn't pick up my pass until 12. But I was like, if they're lining up, I'm gonna line up too.
Join that
so
queue.
I just went there, and they were like, free tickets to see, and I was like, yes, okay. I didn't even know anything about it. But then the woman who introduced it said, when I saw it, I didn't know anything about it. And that's the best way to go in. So I was like, consider me ready then. Lay it on.
Is this also your seatmate that you were next to that was like, I love this so much, I've seen it before, I'm here again?
Yeah. I was like, excuse me, like, what? Why am I here? I was like, stay. What the fuck? What the fuck are we doing here? And they were like, oh, it's this film. It's really great. I've seen it twice or something. And I was like, oh, okay, it must be good.
Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the magic of you coming to these events. I'm so glad I tempted you up north, because as much as you said it was a safety blanket and there was at least I was there, that you're someone that you knew. When I first saw you, you were like, oh, and the guy sitting next to me, I've got him on the Gunship Discord.
He's on the Gunship Discord now, Ben. A Gunship fan.
Oh, hell yeah. I didn't even know it was Gunship Discord. God the hell.
Also, like,
Stan isn't even on the Gunship Discord.
Yeah, besties, straight away.
Hell yeah.
Got him involved. I was like, well, that's
living the absolute dream. Just meeting cool people, going to cool screenings. I haven't seen that film. I think I saw that film the year it was released. I guess it was 2016. Quite a while.
Yeah, 2016.
I remember liking it. I don't remember tons about it, but I remember thinking it was good.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot.
Did you like Titan as well?
I never saw that because I was like, oh, I don't know, that seems a bit too surreal and arsey for my taste.
I've never considered having sex with a car, so maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really where my mind was, but maybe now I'll like it.
That's also good as well. I mean, I'm definitely not the arty car sex type, but I enjoyed that film as well.
Oh, I'll have to check that one out next then.
Yeah, it's good. It reminded me a bit of almost a bit like a Gaspar. Is it Noy? You say his name?
Gaspar Noy.
Something a bit Gaspar Noy about her films, I believe. Like this, you know what I mean by that? Just a bit like almost like Technicolor, but also like disgusting. Oh yeah.
Like 1980s LA. Technicolor but
Yeah,
disgusting.
Technicolor, but like filthy and sleazy is the word I'm thinking of. Grimy. Yeah, keep going. They're all correct. Yeah, something about that. But Titane's nice. I like it. The only thing I was going to mention is after discussing Leviathan last week with Rich Rose, I went and watched it mainly because of the cast: Peter Weller, Daniel Stern, aka Marv from Home Alone, Ernie Hudson, Winston Zeddemore from Ghostbusters. This is like the most derivative film you'll ever watch. It is like, despite the fact it came out in 1989, and you think surely they can't just copy things, can they? But yes, they can. It's like Alien meets The Abyss meets The Thing. The creature's like kind of cool, and it's almost like a bit body horror, cosmic horror stuff. But you don't see much of the creature. But there is a moment at the end of the film, and I'm spoiling the 1989 film, so if you haven't seen it, go see it. Peter Weller just absolutely sucker punches a woman in the face. A villain. But it's so unexpected. I was literally like you sat forward and had to lock in for this film. I sat forward out of like, what the? It's like so mad. It's like a villain who's like, sometimes in like a rescue, like what's the name of the character from Aliens? The guy who's the company guy who's like Burke, who's obviously like out for himself. She's kind of like that, but she's like not sending a rescue ship to get them. She's almost like, oh, then we'll send a rescue ship soon if you want. No, we need one right now. Maybe in a bit. And so when they finally come face to face with her, she like goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you guys are all right." Now, a normal person might go, "Are you? Has there been some misunderstandings? I felt like you were keeping us there for a reason." Weller just absolutely sucker punches her, and like here's his hand as well. Anyway, I have posted a GIF of that on social media, so if anyone wants to, merely obviously voicing my disdain for that moment, but still, I can't believe there's a GIF of it because I literally wrote Leviathan 1989 GIFs, and it was like number 4 or something like that. Someone's gone, that's GIFable.
Big horrible monster. Daniel Stern looking upset. That.
Yeah. It was all right though. If you feel like I quite like an underwater horror movie. I feel like there probably aren't that many, are there? So it's not like
there's underwater.
Oversaturated. Pardon the pun. It's not an oversaturated market, is it? The underwater film is great, mainly for what's her name? Kristen
Stewart.
Kristen Stewart's haircut. God damn. Lovely. Lovely little Paul Gascoigne cut she's got going on there. Very nice. Who knew? I was into that. I am. Right. Shall we?
Apart from that,
anything else?
FrightFest time.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's crack on with FrightFest. FrightFest Glasgow.
Let's get the schedule up, shall we?
Get the bloody schedule up. So took place at the Glasgow Film Theatre on the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. That's exactly where Emma is now. I love the curtain, right? The curtain is spectacular.
Beautiful.
It's a bold
6th, 7th, and 8th of March. 3 days of mayhem, menace, and monstrosity. And that's just describing Andy Conduit-Turner, who's there.
Yeah. Those things that's what I'm all about. I did get, Ben, I've just gathered a little bit of, let's see if we can get it in here. I did go on the FrightFest group and got a couple of people to send in.
Oh, lovely. Good
some
work.
Some of their things. We did not see the Thursday film.
So what did you say to everybody in the FrightFest group?
All right, let me have a look here and see where we go, because unfortunately the wonderful folks on Facebook, they move these things around a bit, don't they?
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
He's you can rely on him if you can rely on anyone.
Here he is.
Joking.
Right, so a couple here. We will discuss what our favourites are as we go through, but Stephen Priddy writes his favourites were In Our Blood and A Mother's Embrace, and for the short film showcase, I think we'll get some nods of agreement here. He found that Pearl Comb in the shorts was a standout.
Pearl Comb.
I did love that.
Meanwhile, Gordon Brown, as far as I'm aware, not that one, not former Prime Minister Gordon Brown, although he is from Scotland. We don't know.
Scotland, yeah.
But I think we'd have known.
Gordon Brown, texture like.
Yeah, it's not that one. Gordon Brown says, Personal highlights were In Our Blood. Psyche was an hour of his life that he'll never get back. That was the Thursday film that we didn't see.
Just an hour.
Rumpelstiltskin had some good performances, and he thought that the Rumpelstiltskin character looked brilliant in the film. But perhaps it was overall lacking a little something for him. Doombusters was a great laugh. Dad's Army Meets Stranger Things. Last Sacrifice was good, and House of Ashes was an enjoyable opener. So a couple of notes from the crowd there. But what were our thoughts?
Emma made a concerned face then.
Yeah, I don't think I would describe a film based around the incarceration of a woman who's had a miscarriage. I don't think I would describe that as enjoyable. But then, as we'll probably get into in a minute, there were elements of it that the audience found very funny that the director had not intended at all to be fun. And the FrightFest crowd, with their kind of Scottish, British sense of humour, maybe took a completely different thing away from that film than
Yeah, because the only other screening they'd had was the American screening, right? Which I imagine different audience.
Yeah, and they're in turmoil at the moment anyway, so I bet they're like, oh my God, this is real.
So we might as well get into it, because House of Ashes was indeed our first film on the Friday that we saw.
So we unfortunately didn't see Psyche on the Thursday, but House of Ashes, the opener, on the Friday. So this was the international premiere, directed by Izzy Lee, starring Fina Sanchez, Vincent Stalber, Mason Conrad, and Joe Lynch. Let me try and read a little bit of the synopsis without giving too much away. The terrifying rise of the treatment of women is a socio-political backdrop for this cautionary tale, where Mia is under house arrest but must contend with the suspicious death of her husband. Oh my.
You see, that's another thing, like listening to that synopsis as well, that is definitely, it is a film of two very different tones. I mean, one thing that we also need to rein up here, sorry Ben, I don't have it in front of me. House of Ashes, the female lead is
Fina Sanchez,
aka Emma Cownley's new bestie.
I'm not going to say a bad word against her for this whole thing. She and I are best friends now. And
we met in the lobby.
I would die for her. Actually, I met her in the toilets, and then I was excited to come out and tell you that I had seen her in the toilets, and you were already talking to her. So that ruined that for me. Yeah.
Yeah. But what we know is that we both enjoyed her performance in the film. She didn't have anything to say about my haircut, but was a big fan of Emma's.
Yeah, she really liked my hair, and then I said I liked her hair, and then we were like, oh my God, we're wearing the same outfit. And then by the end of it, I was like, what are we? What are we?
What's going on here?
What are we? Come on, like, what? Friend?
Yeah, but in all seriousness, her performance is
incredible.
Yeah.
Really, like, you could tell, like, her character was constantly on the edge of just, like, breaking down. Like, she was always, like, holding it back just under the surface. And it was really, like, upsetting to watch and to see. But I feel like her performance was undermined by the actor who was playing her boyfriend, who...
Oh, no.
I mean, I just felt like his line delivery was just like quite wooden, and there was often like pauses after what he was saying, so it left that dead space for like that British people just find really funny. Like that's
we find as a
humor is edited, so like
it plays very much as a comedy beat, and I think the writer was there alongside them as well, and did say there were bits that were meant to be funny. Like, I think, for example, when they first move into the house, they have like a sign on the door that's like "welcome," and there's a bit when they get harassed by a podcaster, and he reopens the door and he snatches the welcome sign off and then closes it again. So there are bits that are clearly written to be funny, but if we look at the beginning of the story, and we won't spoil the ins and outs of all of these films because they're still running at festivals and so on, people might want to catch them, and we'd be here all night. But the opening bit that we talk about, I think it's fine to talk about. We see a woman who has been placed under house arrest, having been in a situation where it has been criminalized that she has had a miscarriage, which, in the current political climate, particularly in the US, when women's bodily autonomy is under increasing assault from lawmakers and people who are heavily influenced by
that someone had been arrested in her state as they were making the film for the same thing. So she was like,
yeah, I think that the thing that is unfortunate for me in this film is that very strong message to begin with and that theming is kind of then buried in the ghost story, and only towards the end technically is only really still in play as a contrivance as to why she has to stay where she is and can't simply leave, in the way that the relationship with the boyfriend is going, or the haunting that she's experiencing.
Yeah, it was like a twofold plot device, wasn't it? It was the reason that she was in the house, it was the reason she couldn't leave, and it was the reason that she chose to be with a partner that was so obviously a selfish dick.
Yeah.
And I wish that they'd done more with it, though, because when I read the synopsis, I was like, this is a bit of me. Like, I'm really fired up now to get in and talk about women's issues. It's a real life horror. Like, this resonates with me. I feel really passionate about it. And then it introduced it in the setup. I was like, here we go. And then just it wasn't really utilized at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating when that happens, isn't it? When you kind of feel like the concept is almost stronger than the execution.
Yeah.
Because
The whole team were really passionate about that as well, being the message, and really wanted to talk about it and have it be the focal point. But like, it wasn't in the film. So like, I don't know, maybe they have to play it a bit more softly, given where they're from.
I don't know, but like, I think that the tonal shift was difficult, and Emma, you, I think, nailed it. The way that the male lead is edited, I don't even necessarily want to say that he's a bad actor. I think we were talking to Andy Edwards, who I think had a really good point, that it's not about the quality of the acting. It's almost as in he's in a different film, because the delivery from one of your leads is very different from the way that the other goes. Now, I personally, and maybe it is our cultural pickup, the timing of the line delivery and the facial expressions of those leads would have you believe that it was a horror comedy you were watching. Because, like, little bits, like there's a scene early on where Mia is chopping the stems off some roses, and then she pauses holding the knife, and we dwell on him, and he looks like like has a little bit of a concerned face and so on. And certainly to us as an audience, it read as, particularly this character is largely played for laughs, which kind of does undercut the seriousness of the other part of the story, because it felt for me watching it that his lean into comedy until maybe towards the very end, but by and large it just escalates and becomes funnier and funnier, and then as you're watching it, you're waiting for what he's going to do.
I had a moment with the people that were sitting near me where we couldn't help but compare him to like a character from The Room, and it didn't help that his name was Mark. So we were just like, oh, and I like Mark, and then see that like performance style, it immediately kind of puts you in that mind frame, which is awful, because I was there for the seriousness of it. I was bought into like Faina's performance and stuff and the premise, and I just feel like, isn't it the director's job though, if they're giving two different kind of tones, to kind of step in and be like, oh, there's two very different flavors going on here, maybe we could meet in the middle, or Mark could perhaps change what he's doing to be more like Mia.
Or for all we know, Emma, it could have been that they're editing this and this all could have been fixed, and then 1 minute you turn around, your computer's disappeared, because that could happen.
Are you trying to tell me that was not a joke? Because
see what?
Yeah.
Well, accidentally, or just
No, there is a bit where genuinely, like, he's put the Mark has put after they hear tales of a haunting, he puts security cameras around the house, as you do, Paranormal Activity style, and then he stays up late to watch the security footage in case a ghost comes, and then there's one bit where he meets the ghost and he throws a cup of steaming hot blood up the wall, but then another time he's watching security. He has a glass of pins a time as well, but there is he's watching the security cameras, and it's literally like they're going off. So they're going off, and he goes and he sticks his head out and looks at the wall where the security camera is, just to find it mysteriously gone and disappeared. It's vanished from existence. And then he turns back around, and not just the hard drive, not just his entire computer has evaporated into dust.
The desk is just empty. And he's like, huh.
It's like, my mouse has gone, my sound bar.
My sound bar, literally everything's been unplugged.
Not unplugged, then.
Gone.
Completely gone.
Infinity Ward disappeared.
Did he even have a computer in the first place? Maybe not.
Yeah, and also there's a scene where they were, kind of getting it on a bit, and they, in the heat of passion, they tumble into a sideboard and a lamp falls over, and she takes a step back and stands on one of the shards from the base of the lamp, and she's like, "Oh, ow, oh my God, sorry, I've really got to see to this," and he's like,
Right, I'll be working on my little house.
Again. She's like, "I'm sorry, I've really got to take care of this," and he's like, "Fine, I guess I understand."
I guess I will not be having sex then.
Yeah.
I bid you good day.
Yeah, and off he goes. Yeah.
What a bad.
Build that matchbox house that he's making.
Yeah. I mean, if he wasn't in the film, what a great film this would be.
Oh.
You could get rid of him, couldn't you? And just have it as her in there with a haunting. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like for the best.
And make the parole officer the invasive force.
There you go. We've
Slightly creepy parole officer that, instead of like coming in like a drill sergeant, is looking at an abuse of power and saying, well, I can make this easy for you.
Yeah, I actually prefer. But then I like the dynamic of their unsuitable relationship and the fact that she's made those bad choices and she's in that dynamic because she's grieving still. I thought that was
And in many ways, he is like an ex. Didn't he he used to like her in high school, and then now her husband is off the scene. He's come back. Very Nosferatu. Your old internet boyfriend has returned.
Yeah.
Got 3 nights. I'll come it back.
Yeah. It was an interesting start, but and I did really feel for the team when they were talking about it afterwards, because I think, particularly the director Izzy, I think, as well as our lead actor, I think they were surprised. I think they even said, like, I wasn't expecting to hear that many people laughing, and it breaks your heart for them, because like I don't know, unless I am being emotionally colorblind on this one, I felt like they hadn't enjoyed being in that room with that many people like laughing as they went through. I think they were quite surprised and disappointed by it. I'm sure they appreciate people watched it.
Oh, isn't it? At FrightFest, sometimes that does happen. Or you get people in the audience that have been going to the festival for years and they're not afraid to just say really loudly that they think what they're watching is shit.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes me die inside, because everything is an effort. Like, I mean, that guy's performance was a bit weird, but like the lighting was incredible as well. There was so much good stuff in there, and it makes me sad that they kind of felt like their meaning had been misconstrued or whatever. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, I still say it's worth watching though if you have an interest in the story, or just to make sense of what we were just talking about. It's a waste of
Mark is diabolical, isn't he? I mean, everything he does is iconic. I'm like you said, like, what's he gonna do next? Like,
when he sees the ghost, his little face is just, he throws that mug.
The bloody ghost, isn't it?
and then he's like, I don't believe in ghosts, and then Mia's like, I don't think they fucking care.
Yeah, that's good.
They don't care. So
Damn.
So what do we have after House of Ashes?
After House of Ashes is The Last Sacrifice. This
We
was
loved it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This was the UK premiere, directed by Rupert Russell. So, did you know the real-life 1945 witchcraft killing of Charles Walton was a terrifying event that inspired the classic shocker, The Wicker Man? And yeah, this is a documentary all about what can we say, like cult
Folk horror and like the
folk
real
a descent
real
into
background
madness.
to it.
Yeah, you guys were into this?
I really liked it.
I loved it. I've got bullet points here. One of them says loved it. One of them says so cool. And one of them says engaging. Which I'd kind of elaborated a little bit more. Oh, would watch again. That's how I know something's really good. If I'm excited to bring it home and like show my husband, I'll
Yeah.
watch it again. That's how he.
The only thing I feel about it, I don't know, I felt like sometimes it was lacking focus on some things. Like some things I was more interested in than others. It was a while ago.
I really liked the combination of archival like film footage and what was the police detective's name? What's his chops of the yard? Fabian of the Yard.
Yeah, Fabian of the Yard.
Fabian of the Yard.
Yeah. I thought that was really, and I loved the interviews with that lady who was, you know, she was inducted into that witches' coven, and then there is video footage of her from that documentary, naked and going through those things, and then she's just a cool old lady going, well, tell you what, first erect penis I've ever seen in my life. There it was.
Yeah.
She was brilliant, and what I will say, not his value, but. Maybe it's because I said this to you, Emma. The director, Rupert Russell, maybe it's nominative determinism, looks good in a scarf, just like the bear who he shares a name with.
Oh, I see.
He was wearing the shit out of that scarf in the Q&A, wasn't he, Emma? You can vouch for it.
He really was. He did have a scarf. It's
A
true.
luxurious scarf as
A
well.
luxurious scarf. Yeah. So that was a short. But
I really liked it. Then I don't know about this. I'm not sure it was on the screener because I had seen the screener of this that they were good enough to send to us, but I'm not sure the epilogue was on it.
The epilogue is a really special. It's like probably the cherry on the top of what was already a delicious cake.
Oh, what happened in the epilogue?
Well, we can't give it.
I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but
Not about it.
we're not shy. We're not shy of a British children's television reference on this show.
No, not.
But you would get one.
Oh, wait,
if you watched the
Teletubbies.
epilogue. Oh yeah, that's so you do know.
Well, I know only because of some reviews I've seen, but I definitely didn't see a Teletubbies thing. I mean, Teletubbies in horror, 2025 is the year of. It's in the bloody 28 years later trailer. Is it linked in some?
Teletubbies are in it.
Is it like the land?
They are.
Is it like is it the land? I guess.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
next to the hill where the sacrifice took place.
Yeah. I thought.
Um,
I think I've heard some weird stuff about that before. Isn't the owner of like that place of the Teletubbies old set just like let it?
He's possibly a black dog or an angry man that appears in a story.
Or a ghost.
To the actor that portrayed Tinky Winky.
Yeah.
Oh,
And cursed him.
Kirsten.
when you with that bloody handbag.
And that's a real shame because Tinky Winky is the best one for the handbag.
Tinky Winky is slaying harder than all the other Teletubbies combined.
Absolutely, it's. I'll say as well for this documentary, other than getting to see the links, the kind of historical context for a lot of Hammer's best films, as an actual kind of practicing witch, it was really cool to see footage of Gerald Gardner, who founded Gardnerian witchcraft, which is what modern day Wicca is based on, and also Alex and Maxine Sanders, who founded Alexandrian witchcraft. And to get to see like that stuff, I didn't even know that stuff was out there. I didn't know you could see footage of them. So that was crazy. I loved.
I think big props for this film for me for the editing work as well. I love like the archival footage, which is like all like so is this actually what people who practice witchcraft would believe? And then it's like the super straight Alex Gardner, like, no, this is like very like straightforward just cutting between those ones. And big props. I feel if I ever make a documentary or if I ever have anything where I need a narrator with some real gravitas, I'm hiring Jonathan Rigby. Right? What a voice for it. Jonathan Rigby has like the best voice for. I wish he would read to me in an audiobook format, not just come around my house and do it, but he would be welcome. I'd put the kettle on. Like, I'd like bedtime stories read to me by Jonathan Rigby. Something from a Victorian era, like a Sherlock Holmes book or something.
That's really lovely.
Delicious.
Sounds
Bloody
delightful.
lovely.
Sounds bloody lovely. Okay, so after that was the movie By the Throat, which is the world premiere. And this film's directed by David Luke Rees, stars Patricia Allison, Jeannie Spark, Rupert Young, Matt Cottle. Dying to get over a profoundly distressing attack that ended in fatality, Lizzie Roberts agrees to act as a carer cum housekeeper for Amy and Alex Cummings at their remote country. I'm just laughing at all the words of the use of cum in that thing.
I was thinking, like, don't come on the housekeeper.
Carer cum housekeeper for Alex and Amy Cummings. Well, I mean,
In that.
to be
Flavor by Alan Cumming.
there's a lot of cum in that, but also like the fact that I thought it was going to maybe go in a little bit of a direction of like evil swingers is what I was kind of thinking. And I'm adding evil to that because some people will think swinging by its very nature is evil. I'm not one of those people. I think
It's all right,
like.
Claire. Back it in. It's fine.
Do what you bloody like.
Just because it's not your life.
Yeah, oh, bloody hell. Yeah, so I mean, I guess this was a tale of like grief, of like post-traumatic stress. I don't know. Did you guys enjoy this? I thought some of this was one of those films where I think the performances were pretty strong.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Patricia Allison was really great in it, and I loved, like, especially the ending for her character. I love that. Like, she did what I would do. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but the way that she, handled things, the make surety of it all, loved it. And also, like, it went in a completely different direction than I thought it was going to go. And I thought there was going to be like some kind of roast of the child or like something weird going on. And then I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh, a second time. And I was like,
I don't know if I was entirely happy with the direction it went in. I was kind of hoping for something a bit more of a domestic.
He wanted a ghost. He wanted evil swingers, Emma.
Yeah, maybe I wanted. I don't know. I wanted something, or like finding out that maybe this character was responsible for the death of a person.
oh, yeah. Sort of landmine goes click type of a scenario.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I didn't mind the way it went, but at the same time, I think I have expressed my concern with some of these films, and by some of these films I mean just a few over the past few years that kind of just go, it's a bloody cult, mate. It's a bloody cult. And then I don't know. I don't always know if the execution is great, just because I feel like it's one of those things that like the iconography of like a cult or a cult in horror cinema is a bit overcooked. Is that a good way of putting it? A bit overcooked.
Okay.
Like you kind of know what, like if someone says that, you can kind of visualize what it is, and then when it is like that, yeah. But still, solid performances. Patricia Allison.
What Ben's saying there is like it's like Ben, a bit like a salted caramel. He's sick of it. There's too much. You don't need salted caramel and everything. Just
Salted
sometimes
caramel.
regular unsalted sweet caramel is fine.
God, I had a yogurt the other day, and it was like salted caramel, like spiced salted caramel. I was like, that's too much going on there. That's too
Stop
much.
putting too much in your caramel.
It was too Christmassy. It was way too Christmassy. I was like, I ain't ready for this in March.
I will say though, in the Q&A after the screening, some guy pointed out the uncomfortable intimacy in the film. And I was like, actually, yeah, they did that so well. Like the lingering moments of kind of overly intimate between what was her name, Amy and Lizzie. And also like the fact that like Lizzie, that is her name, right? Lizzie.
Lizzie's
Not only is she a different class, but she's an employee, a different race. She's younger. So in all aspects, she's like not really able to advocate for herself against someone who is like older, wealthier, in a position of power in like every sense of the word, coming into her space and inappropriately kind of like touching her and being like, dance with me, wear my clothes.
Have a bottle of
Yeah,
have a
that
bottle of
bit.
vino
So
with me.
yeah, Jeannie Spark, who plays it, I think he talks about performances. She can turn the tension in this on a dime because she's the person that she's been brought into care for, and she is, to begin with, like portrayed as quite weak, quite vulnerable, in quite a difficult position, and she goes from helpless to quite intimidating. And I think
Yeah, but in a gentle way.
Yeah.
Like a really disarming way where you would really, you wouldn't have a reason to say no to her because it seems really reasonable and like not aggressive or anything, but just very intense.
Sort of like James McAvoy in Speak No Evil, right? The amount of danger people put themselves in because they're polite and don't say makes me a bit uncomfortable. And I think it really draws out the physical differences between them as well. I mean, I not brought a tape measure out with me, but particularly whether it's physical or the way they film them. But Jeannie Spark like towers over their other character who's now is no longer so Patricia Allison when they're on there on screen together. And it is like quite this threat, and like the little things that she snaps about as well. And I think the way that she goes from very friendly to very serious, like when she says, "Oh, you don't need to call me Mrs. whatever, you can just call me Amy," and then she like snaps at her when she does it again, like really, really well played. And for anyone wondering where you might have seen Jeannie Spark before, she is in the Black Mirror episode where what's his flavor has to have sex with a pig.
Oh,
Where Rory Kinnear has sex with a pig. Is she the
wait, so
is she his wife?
his wife?
I don't know. Let me just check.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, did we mention obviously the main character's like obviously been through had like a trauma as well based on like being attacked as well, which was very prevalent throughout the film as well. You know, there were moments where she was reimagining it happening or kept reliving it, and that was it was
Sort of showing like the guilt when you actually are forced to defend yourself, and how that can still make you feel guilty, right?
It was a very,
And like
slightly
how-
wild film. Yeah, sorry, go on, Emma. Sorry.
when that comes back later on, like she doesn't hesitate. And I was like, we've seen her grow.
I won't hesitate, bitch.
We talked about that over beers as well, in like a serious conversation about defending yourself and having to be, if something's gonna get you,
would go. Yeah.
have to be ready. Like if bloody Matthew Lillard or a character he's playing
Oh, I'd let him in.
to get you,
I've seen limits.
you drop a telly on his head like that. Don't hesitate.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to drop a telly on your
Also-
head so hard, Matthew Lillard, that you're going to be poorly for up to 30 years before
we
you eventually
do-
come back.
Poorly for 30 years. When she goes, dance with me, was there any music? Because that always freaks me out in films.
No.
She go, dance with me. I was like, what? To the beat of my heart? What are you on about?
She was singing in a really creepy way and like unintelligent.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, dance for me. Excuse me? That's just not on. This is not a relationship I'm willing to explore further.
Yes, second creepiest use of dance with me in a film. The first one being in Dead Man's Shoes, where Paddy Constantine puts a load of crack in the kettle and gets them wrecked, and then goes, "I'm Jesus, dance at my party."
I will.
Makes them dance for punching that guy's brain out.
You're right there. Right there at the top of my hand. Okay, so after By the Throat was the Doombusters, which it was the world premiere. Directed by Jack Lawrence McHenry, stars Tom Bailey, Margaret Clooney, Timothy Renouf, and Jessica Webber. It's 1940. War rages across Europe. Britain prepares for the coming invasion, but the war is a dull affair for Arthur Roundtree and his pals. He dreams of action and adventure, but he remains stuck in a sleepy English village. Just skipping ahead a bit so I don't reveal too much. But however, when an extraterrestrial creature crashes on the outskirts of the village, a training exercise suddenly turns into a deadly game of cat and mouse. There we go. How did some people describe this? Did you say Dad's Army meets
Dad's Army meets Predator.
Yeah.
Meets Predator? Yeah, it's more Predator than Stranger Things, actually. Yeah, because someone said Stranger Things.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that. It was definitely Predator. Because sometimes even the shots that they used, or like the ideas that they used, were taken from Predator.
Now,
But,
I didn't hear this live, but Emma, you were at the Q&A. Obviously, this is an independently budgeted film, and obviously you should set your expectations accordingly. But Emma, before you reveal it, Ben, if you haven't looked this up, how much money do you think this film was made for?
Oh, God. I mean, I could tell it wasn't a lot with some of the effects, and that's not to say that they look bad.
Yeah, not disparaging. It's an independently budgeted film, but
£15,000. Emma?
it was £8,000.
God.
Yeah.
Hey, holy. That's insane.
And the commander was the director's mum. And cat at the beginning of the film was his own cat.
Was his mum. That was his...
Was also his mum. She's got range.
She got dressed all in black on all fours. I didn't... Yeah.
And the monster is his buddy dad. No, I thought this film was quite a charming one. It was fun. I think we talked about it afterwards. Comedy's difficult, right? Like, I think it's one of the most difficult genres you can work in, because you can make things gory and you can make things scary by doing horrible things, but to put in comedy as well and to have characters that you actually like and a charming and suitably different, rather than like slightly different haircuts on the same cutout character, it's really difficult to do. And I think they pulled off the bits that matter really well.
I do think it was funny. I thought it was funny as well because they were leaning into some of their budget constraints. Like, I can't say one bit without ruining one of the characters, but there's like a really like kind of wooden, like, it's obviously they've done that kind of transition because they don't have a budget, but they're like leaning into it. Do you know what I mean? Like the Monty Python coconuts thing.
Yeah.
You know they don't have a budget, so why are they going to even lie about it? And also the monster was made out of expanding foam that was just carved into shape, so you don't really see like a lot of the monster.
No, you didn't see a lot of the monster at all. That one. Again, I kind of thought budget-wise, I was hoping and praying we wouldn't get some horrible shiny CGI shot, that probably lost half the budget and was just plonked in. And we did.
I thought it was clever at the end to do like a style shift, again, not ruining it, but a total style shift, which allowed them to kind of have an impactful climax without having to really overextend on their budget or go outside of their means or have it look shit. I thought that was clever. That was a clever use of resources.
Yeah,
it was. And ultimately reminds us of the important message that, as well as aliens sometimes being the baddies you need to face down, also Nazis. Remember that, everyone. In whether it's 1938 or 2025, they're the wrong uns. Deal with them as you will.
Yeah, I mean,
mostly bashing them with stuff.
Yeah,
brooms, forks, making big traps in the woods.
Yeah,
God, Tommy gun if you've got one.
Nazis always fall for booby traps.
They do. Yeah. What's this big line running across the thing with a massive, horrible, spiky stick over there? That's all right. I knew someone was. So when they were setting those up, I was like, one of these characters is gonna get.
Oh no! Because like Andy said, I really liked all the characters. They were all like, you just love them. You just love them instantly, all of them. It really did lean on that British kind of sitcom thing. Yeah. They all had their archetypes, so you could instantly bond to them. You knew exactly who they were without them having to do a hell of a lot of legwork or like exposition.
And you knew that certain people were going to have like a heroic moment. Absolutely. When somebody goes,
"Oh, he's too nice. Can't got this."
Well, you know what I mean? Like I'm leaving now. You can all swivel on it. See you later. I'm like, well,
are you going to Han Solo this? I wouldn't comment either way.
Yeah, he's going to turn out and have a heroic moment.
Yeah. I mean, don't you rely on me coming back at a critical moment. You all right?
There's certain things that were like reveals or twists. Like I didn't necessarily see them coming, and I know they weren't like super signposted, but still.
Mm. I mean, again, if I see an adorable little dweeb in glasses, I just know it's not going to work out. And I was like,
I wish my glasses were in reach then.
Well, on.
my glasses,
What are the glasses?
Can't say without him. Oh no, but the only
Like
only thing in his defense is he does look a tiny bit like naughty Norman Price, who is worse than the Nazis.
yeah, wasting resources, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, it goes a bit sword and sorcery towards the end as well, doesn't it? We get like a
yeah, fun style shift. It's interesting.
and again, like clearly dealing with budgetary restraints, shoot it all in red, and have it all flashy and quick cuts and all that stuff. It was yeah, it was.
I liked this. It's fun. I think this would be a perfect of all the movies we've discussed so far, a good hangout movie. Stick it on when you've got your friends around, when it's on a streaming service or something like that. You'll have a good laugh.
Yeah. Do we think we needed to see Robot Lady without her skin on?
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, I like that.
Referring to it, she like goes off the side, and then this fucking paper mache Copic comes in and like goes back, and she comes up again. I was like,
So funny.
Did you think? Because first of all, I was like, she's an alien, she's a bad guy. Then I thought, well, she's just like a secret agent or something. Like I don't know. But then,
isn't that what you're supposed to think? That's the train of thought it's supposed to go down.
yeah, exactly. I did what was expected of me. All right.
Yeah, you went right down that rabbit hole.
You were Dr. Watson there. You were right there with the audience.
They knew I would. Okay, so
It was fun. I liked this a lot. Got a lot of time for it, and also on this show and in my general life, I think you cannot support independent filmmakers enough that have done it through. What was the funding? And was it a bit of crowdfunding or
Crowdfunded? Yeah.
so? Yeah, crowdfunded. People have gone out there and they've gathered a very modest budget from people who believed in their idea, and then they turned up and delivered something which is a fun watch. I don't think you could say much more than that. I would throw money at people like that every day of the week. And my time to watch them as well.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't the last film of the Friday, though. There was a movie called In Our Blood. European premiere, directed by Pedro Cos. Stars Brittany O'Grady, E.J. Bonilla, Alana Ubach, and Krishna Fairchild. Nothing is what it seems when filmmaker Emily Wyland teams up with cinematographer Danny to shoot an intimate documentary about reunited with Emily's estranged mother. Then the mother goes missing. Who knows what's going to happen? I guess, like, in terms of not mockumentaries, that means as a joke, a fake documentary in film form. I didn't necessarily know what to expect of this, and kept thinking it was going to go in one direction, and then I don't know. Do you feel like the final reveal? We didn't necessarily have to say what it is, but do you think the final reveal was fitting, or do you feel like it was a little bit of a sort of deviation from what the plot was suggesting?
It took me out. I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then it was like, sorry, what? And then it just kept going and going. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, I thought we were just in it for a really tense, like, seedy underbelly of, like, crime or whatever. And then I was like, oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
You talked about By the Throat. I watched the whole thing thinking it's going to be a cult in this. It's not going to be a criminal gang. It's going to be a cult in this. And then, again, I don't want to spoil it. It's not that. It's something else.
No.
Not
The performance, I felt like there were some strong performances in this. The mother, especially, when there's a moment where she has to sort of like talk about her addiction to camera, like it was incredibly like heart-wrenching, and like the reaction from the daughter as well, when she kind of was just talking about things that obviously she'd thought she'd come to terms with, but I guess coming face to face with her mother again, it was all brought back up, and yeah. I like the relationship between the two characters, the main character and the cinematographer guy, Danny. I think that was pretty good. That felt legit.
And what was nice about that is that, like, the female character, I can't remember her name, was like relentlessly in pursuit and was only getting more and more determined and whipped up, like the more clues she found. But Danny is like, you don't realize the stakes for me aren't the same. Like every time I follow you in, like I'm putting like myself at serious risk every single time. So there's kind of that tension between the two of them where you can tell he wants to be supportive and he wants to kind of be there with her, obviously to look out for her, but also, you know, to be supportive, but at massive risk to himself. And she kind of knows that, but at the same time, she can't not be driven to find answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think that it will be. I think your last 5-10 minutes will be polarizing because I think I have a similar reaction to you, Emma. I was like, "What? What?" But I think there'll be other people who will be like, "Oh," who will really they'll really turn on. That'll be a real switch on for them, and they would be if they're in the cinema like us. They'd be like looking back. What have they made of this? What have they? I think this will be one. If you're watching it with a fan, that'll be one as they're waiting for a reveal. They'll be looking across at you, ready for action.
Yeah. I just got to get up and make a cup of tea. You can't miss this bit. I'll pause it. No, don't worry. Withers.
I will say as well, though, this film had a tremendous amount of like compassion for unhoused people and people with addiction issues. Like it was really sensitive about how it was handling those situations, and it gave a lot of compassion to those people. Which, when you compare that with something like, I don't know, Amelia Perez or whatever, that just really shat all over the communities it was trying to portray, I think that, you know, In Our Blood gives you a best-in-class example of how to handle these situations with like compassion and grace.
Yeah, because they do a lot of work with it, especially like you say, the unhoused people, the people dealing with addictions. It doesn't rush over them and sort of go, they're here.
This bit where they're interviewing various people, like I'm assuming, like it went a bit Blair Witch, didn't it? Where it was interviewing people from those communities who weren't actors, except for one guy. That's what it felt like, right? And I'm guessing that was what it was. It definitely felt like that. Like, and it felt like those stories they were telling almost felt like they're actually their stories. Like that woman who was talking about someone who'd been attacked. She's like, that could have been me. That could have been my sister. I've been this for this many years, and lost so many people.
What was nice is that it didn't demonize them, but also it shone a really stark light on the fact that when people are looking to commit violent crimes, they go straight to the people that they know aren't going to be missed. Elderly people, people of color, people who are unhoused, people who are addicts, people that if they dropped off the face of the earth, no one would know. And I think I think more people need to talk about that. It's not about, it's about safeguarding people like that. Yeah. And I just thought, this was nice, but
but that ending, hey?
But that fucking ending.
All of those things.
But I think, Emma, you had a really good point where, like, you were talking, I think you talked about the lead performance there, that you're like, when someone is just on it with this character, and they don't only grab it with both hands, they swing it around and chuck it into the nearest duck pond. They really go for it, and she does at the end.
There are a couple of reveals, really. Like obviously we're talking about this major reveal, but then there's almost another extra.
Yeah. No, I would say there's 3 reveals at the end. Okay. I would say.
Yeah. There are. Yeah, there are. Yeah, 3. Yeah.
So like,
I just remembered what the third one was.
Yeah. So what the fuck?
There you go. Okay, so that was the end.
Mad.
A Friday.
I mean, I think I can just about say this without giving any spoilers.
Careful.
It doesn't take much convincing for someone to do what would be, I think, a very difficult thing, regardless of whether you've been convinced of the outcome. Someone goes, "Here, take this implement and do this thing. It's your destiny. You have to do it." Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Why not? Here we go. Okay, so the next day, Saturday, starting off with A Mother's Embrace. And then I went to watch a film called A Mother's Embrace.
Mother's Embrace, then I popped it out of the cinema.
See you later. I'm off to the cinema, Mum. Don't forget your tea and toast. Can't say that word. So there's a UK premiere, directed by Christian Ponce. Cast: Marjorie Estiano, Pablo Guisa Costeña, Javier Drolas. In 1996, young firefighter Anna and her team were called to an old people's home at risk of flooding during the worst storms to ever hit Rio de Janeiro. And as they try to evacuate the elderly, Anna soon finds something sinister lurking beneath the surface. Oh, God. And the residents are not as innocent as they might seem. What? How was this starting a Saturday morning? Were you guys sleepy? Do you have a late night on Friday?
Yeah, it's always a late night at a Fright Fest, isn't it? You're out at the cinema at like 1 a.m. and then you have to be back at the cinema by 10 a.m. So you had like...
Tempted to just like get under your seat and just bed down for the night and then just wake up for the next one? Yeah.
Well, when you've got something as compelling as A Mother's Embrace playing out before your very eyes, you're not...
You're wide awake like it's a bloody whackaday, mate. You're straight up.
I really loved the imagery in this. I thought it was really nice. I thought the generational trauma aspect was good. And I really liked the main character. I thought she was so, like, compelling. Everything she did, I was like, take me along with you. What's she going to do now? And look, I had every faith in her. I was like, she's cool. Whatever's
like
happening, I was like, don't worry, Anna will sort it out.
You'd be like that little girl holding her hand, going along with her.
I was like,
that ain't my dad.
yeah, she's like, that looks like my dad, but that's not him. I was like, go with Anna. Anna will look after you.
Yeah. And then he gives it away by having slightly sparkly eyes. I'd have gone, look.
Look at those sparkly eyes.
He's got monster eyes.
He's got monster
Can't disguise them.
Nope.
Like a ditto when it transforms. Still got that stupid little smirky face. I can. That ain't a Bulbasaur. Look at those little eyes.
I was going to compare him to a Twinkle Eyes Barbie, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. With the diamond eyes, yeah. Yeah, I really liked it. Good imagery. Like the bit where they get to the old people's home and they're going around investigating it, I felt like that went on forever. I was like, we're still walking around here. It's been like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I don't need to see you.
Every room in real time.
Any old people in here?
I don't need to do it. I'm not part of this fire safety inspection. To make...
There was an old bit where it's just the paperwork getting done for like 20 minutes. And there wasn't.
Also, like, was there any kind of exposition around what was actually going on in there? Or were we just expected to be like, kind of pull the pieces together and like infer, oh, this is what it is? Because I felt like no one explicitly kind of really said anything. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're just expecting this.
It's difficult finding the balance, isn't it? Because sometimes, like, when a film proper holds your hand and goes, did you know this is what's happening?
This is exactly what it is. But book and they go through it and they're like, oh, it must be this.
But then the opposite, when they give you nothing, it's like just as
it was a big thing to ask us to accept. Like, by the end, I was like, oh my God, what?
Yeah.
You feel like a colleague who just has the floor collapse under you, and all of a sudden you've broken your leg and you're up to your neck in water.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's a snake on you.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So don't. I know in principle you need to get a ladder, but I have a fairly strong suspicion that as soon as you're gone, main character, I'm going to get slurped off in this water.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't care. No one is leaving me.
Yeah. I mean, like, it doesn't feel like it's that far down. Can you just reach down and pull me up?
Yeah, or like shout for someone. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. That Ulysses, who runs the old people's home, has the least urgency about doing anything. It's like, get ready to evacuate everyone. And he's like, all right. And then just goes back to the conversation he's having.
No, he was inviting new people into the old person's home that they were trying to shut down for being unsafe. He was like, yeah, I'll evacuate everyone. So your room's just this way.
Here's your welcome pack. Bingo will be at 7.
Here's your key card for the entrance.
You've started coding that key card after I've told you to evacuate. I'm just finishing this while they're already in. Come on.
Yeah, I would say that I really liked the first half and the second half was okay. Like the acting was really, really good. The imagery was great. I just wasn't so bought in on where they went with it.
we triggered some real life traumas on this one. You know, at the cold open where Anna is a little girl, and they go in the big woman.
Oh yeah,
That's genuinely what she says. She goes in the big woman.
reminiscent
fair.
like Us or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Me a little bit of that.
Creepy fair. But yeah, when they go in there, have you guys ever been to? I think it's the Natural History Museum in London where they have the body exhibit, and you go round. You know, you are walking around like an oversized human body that's in all the rooms, and there is one room that is like the female reproductive system, and you do go into a big room that's like a womb, and there is a enormous heart-beating bird embryo looking baby
God.
fetus monster that's in there. Now,
So you kind of test that it is real scary.
yeah, so in obviously with adult eyes you can go in there and say, oh look, the miracle of life and interesting science. I've learned a lot today. But when you are at the Natural History Museum with your parents, when you are 4 years old and basically want to see dinosaur bones, when you do the other exhibits and you walk in there and you are confronted with a model, partially formed baby creature that is at least double your size as someone who could only just not be described as a toddler. You know what that is, my friends? Terrifying.
Terrifying. That's trauma.
I think I cried at that almost as much as I cried at the horrible uncanny waxworks at Warwick Castle. Basically, my at some point, I do sometimes reflect on the fact that my parents did spend a lot more time taking my sister to events when she was born, and now I reflect on it. Maybe that's less of a failing of them dividing their time between two children and accepting that I liked playing Sonic and being left alone, and more of a fact that for the first 4 years of my life, they probably did take me to a lot of things, and I didn't like any of them because I was scared of most of them.
Now,
The real suck.
horror podcast.
Yeah, exactly. You've repurposed it.
I burnt out all of my fear before I was 8.
Have they still got that uterus exhibition thing?
I'm not on the board.
What? Always laughing at. I'm just saying, every man in the country probably should have to go and spend a few hours wandering around. You know, get themselves.
Last time I went to the Natural History Museum, which wasn't yesterday, but was only a few years ago, it was still there. With hindsight, as an adult, maybe the effects have dated. It wasn't scary.
No.
It was oh look, it's an embryo baby.
Look, there's an embryo over there, and then you suddenly just dropped very
when you're
your 4-year-old self.
But when you're a little kid, it's dark in there. There's weird noises, and I'm pretty sure they do a heartbeat noise.
Oh, okay.
So it's like your life force is running out in an episode of Nightmare. You walk into this red room, it's a big horrible baby, and you just go,
oh no.
just the room gets slightly hotter. Just fall into ironically, the fetal position on the floor.
So this film gave you flashbacks then, basically.
It did. And in many ways, vindication, because little baby Anna didn't like it either. She was like, Mom.
But she was high on drugs, though, at the time.
Oh, yeah, she had that. It does
She
not
had an
taste,
excuse
it
to
does
be
not taste
upset.
funny.
So
There we go.
To be fair, I couldn't swear to the fact that I hadn't had drugged milk. Maybe I had.
Oh God.
Also, it was what would that have been? Like 1987. All sorts of E numbers in your food. Could have had a Panda Pop just for I'd gone in absolutely off my tits.
Panda Pop, you've been absolutely tweaking. After Mother's Embrace was a lovely short film showcase.
Well,
maybe let's not discuss every single one, but let's discuss favourites.
I would also like to point out it was the first short film showcase they've ever done at FrightFest Glasgow.
yeah.
What?
Traditionally, they would just do one or two before some of the other films, but now this is the first time they've done a showcase. Emma, I think we both have a favourite one. Maybe we'll save that for last. What others do you want to mention? What others do you want to mention first? Where should we begin?
I really liked the pearl comb.
Pelcam was really good.
Hmm.
A Cornish legend. Let me see if I can get the director up.
Not a haunted comb, is it? Is it a Friday the 13th episode all over again?
It's like a cursed comb, you could say.
Yeah.
It would absolutely fit in as an episode of Friday the 13th, the series, if they'd sold that comb. Let me see if it's got an entry so I can tell you who made it. The Pearl.
I mean, I can tell you. It's right in front.
Oh, you've got it up, Ben.
Sorry.
Because I
Said that. I didn't know what you were looking for. I was like, are you looking for a pearl? Is he looking for the pearl comb legend?
no,
Ali Cook.
Ali Cook.
A doctor hell-bent on proving a woman's place is in the home and not practicing medicine is sent to investigate her miraculous claim.
I
guess he's
said to Andy at the time, and I stand by it, that I would have preferred a more ambiguous ending, because she's claiming that this mermaid gave this fucking comb to her husband, and the comb allows him to heal people, and then, you know, he was taken by the mermaid, and now she's got the comb, and that's what she's using to run her successful practice, because women aren't allowed to practice medicine as doctors. So this guy's here trying to like disprove her, and I would have liked it if the ending had just been like, was it a real mermaid, or is she just spinning a yarn so that she
Yeah.
medicine? I was like, amazing. And then the ending happened and I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, not to bury the lead here as well, but she's made her fortune in human medicine when clearly the greater power was in veterinary medicine, not only because it is a more directly paid for service, but secondarily, like the things we see people heal: poorly elbow, poorly fingers,
She healed
lovely arm.
She did heal a
That rabbit that she brought back to life, though, that wasn't a bit poorly. That was a stone dead rabbit. And she was like, and healed.
How much money could you make if you could bring people's cats and dogs back alive?
Infinite money. There isn't infinite. If I had a beloved pet that had passed away and someone goes, I'll put this comb on them and bring them back to life, I'd be like, sure, what do you want?
I'll give you anything.
Yeah. I'll chuck someone in the sea after 7 years. I like the effect of the mermaid as well. I think, you know, really well done.
The production quality was really high on this
Yeah.
as well, I'd say.
Do we want to touch a little bit on the bird watcher with the police mystery plus albatrosses?
I'm not confident I understood what was happening. I can't confidently speak on that film. I've got no idea what the fuck happened.
Yeah, it was a very surrealist piece, which combines sort of a flashback to an event that happened, and then the police investigators looking at it. It's a very sort of eldritch type horror, right? Very out of body, very sort of interdimensional, and also albatrosses.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't even know. It was one of those where I came out being like, I don't think I was smart enough for that, or I don't think I'm as artistically minded as perhaps I like to believe I am.
I don't. Other ones that we want to cover
Sometimes
before we get
things
to the
just-
main event?
Sometimes things just don't resonate with you, do they? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a...
Yeah.
I get like that. I know what you mean. I'm like, was I not? Sometimes you're just not in the right frame of mind either, you know? Sometimes you're well open to these things. Other times you're like, how now?
Mulch was interesting and quite. It's all with the animated bunny.
Yes. I like those little shorts where you kind of get those unexpected twists and it becomes like quite funny. Where they're kind of like the premise, they're kind of setting it up till like 2/3 of the way through, where you're left being like, who's this? What's going on? What's he off to? And you're kind of trying to put the pieces together, and suddenly it's like, aha! And then the ending happens, and you're like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah. When he looks, there's an animated rabbit there.
Little animated bunny, and now he's shot its face off. Like, yeah.
It was a good little thing, but I think the main event, there were some good shorts, the ones we haven't mentioned but are not common. Conveyance, I shouldn't forget. The Conveyance was fun, showing that even if you've got a haunted house, the alternative is having to hang out with estate agents more so.
Yeah,
Like
you'd rather live with a poltergeist lifting you up in bed at night, but only
And-
watch Love Island on TV.
He loves Love Island.
Into the housing market.
Yeah. I wonder what the poltergeist thoughts are on other dating rate based reality shows. Reckon it's a maths thing. Like, would it be into that? How does it feel about the Australian variants versus the UK ones that we have?
I mean,
Yeah, I liked this. It was fun. It was fun, and then in the scary bits, it doesn't dial back on those bits. It still brings scares to the table, I think, as well.
yeah, I enjoy that kind of tone where it's funny, but also it's like quite shocking in places.
Yeah, and we had some others, but if we don't mention those, it's not a comment on their quality or lack thereof. It's just ones that resonated with us the most. But I think unanimously, Pumpkin Guts.
Pumpkin Guts. Wow.
It was so good. I love
But
this.
so John Carpenter in like a Halloweeny way, but also The Thing, I'd say.
Yeah. The thing I also love about it as well is the amount of fucks given to have something which is, I would say, on paper set in Middle America, on, in tone, in terms of Halloween, in terms of the missing kids' faces on milk cartons, all of that true, but then an almost entirely Scottish cast.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, like really like thick, like Glaswegian accent on like the main.
But what also was good about it is that you had like a really potent ticking time bomb element, so you can sense the actual panic, but then the fuck ups that happen because of the frantic panic. And then like you think, oh, nothing can possibly happen, this is the main character, and then it fucking does. And then like the cycle repeats itself. And another thing I think I liked so much about it is it had that urban legend element. What's so fantastic about that, because it played on well-known tropes, you don't have to do all of the explaining. You can get a sense of what this is, and the fact that you don't have all the information makes it so much better. Because I do think that there was probably a lot of scope in there to make a full-length film, but at that point they're going to be going into the legend, and it will go all kind of man, won't it, where like it kind of brings everything up and some of that mystique is gone. So the fact that we don't have all the information, but it is an urban legend and you can easily pick it up as you go along, like the rules and what's what. I love stuff like that. That's right up my strata. I love this film so much.
Yeah, so good. And I don't want to spoil, but like genuinely really funny as well. And I won't give the punchline, but the note that she gets in the thing that says, right, you have to cut someone's ear off. And she's like, how am I supposed to look in the pumpkin? Is there anything else? It's so funny. So funny.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great. It hits every note for me. It's just the kind of thing that I really enjoy. So
yeah, need to write up a review of that one. I think it's really, really solid.
And it's for free online. It's on Brian M. Ferguson's Vimeo.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, so you can just watch it. It's like 13 minutes.
I might do after we finish recording. I might watch it again.
I sent it to everyone I know. I was like, you need to watch this. This is fucking
Is that bloody Ben?
I'm not on the Gunship Discord.
I know, yes, that bloody Ben. It's because I'm not on the Gunship Discord. That's why.
You need to join the Gunship Discord.
Oh well, I've definitely joined so many Discords and never ever looked at anything on them. I've had the list endless.
Well, there's a link to Pumpkin Guts on the Gunship Discord if you.
I feel like we should say like a brief, an unusual advert break for the Horror Hangout podcast. Today we're brought to you by our friends over at the Gunship Discord.
Join the Gunship Discord, where I am sometimes.
Where I am sometimes, and you can have fun civil chats about the band Gunship.
Oh yeah.
And 80s horror. They love a bit of 80s horror over there.
I mean, I'm not a Gunship listener. I'm not against them though. Maybe I should listen to some Gunship, find out if I like them.
Well, if I like them, Ben likes them, then surely.
Yeah.
2 people I like,
Andy,
like
very cinematic synthwave one song. In fact, I think 2 songs have got John Carpenter doing the intro.
I like Gunship, everybody. I will see you on the Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And
Maybe I will make it official. I'll join the Discord before I even listen to it.
two former members of Fight Star. What's that? You like Charlie Simpson? He's on loads of songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on loads of them. Hell.
Boys on 2.
Yes, loads.
But Tim Capello of the Lost Boys fame is on loads of them.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, synthwave plus saxophone is a match made in absolute heaven.
It's a magical combo for sure.
Oh my god! Can I just
Behind the curtain, everybody?
I'm just going to give you one song to listen to. Not even by Gunship. Have you heard "Sunglasses Kid"?
I love Sunglasses Kids.
Badge and
In
Gun.
Love at the Drive-In. That's a great.
Yes, Badge and Gun was like a TikTok sound, I think, but he made into a full-length song. Go and find it on. It is beautiful. It is so buttery. It is like the most. So somebody posted on TikTok and said, when you're like an 80s cop handing in your badge and gun after a bust goes wrong or something like that, and it's saxophone. It's just like neon soaked LA nights.
He nails that nostalgic
Oh
vibe,
man,
wasn't
it
it?
is. It tickles something in my brain that I
The memories unlocked.
Yeah, like, but you know when people are saying this a lot on TikTok as well, like nostalgia for a time you didn't even exist in.
That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel.
My God. I mean,
Dude,
to be fair,
Badge and
guys,
Gun,
I need
link
to,
you.
I need, yeah, please send me a ton of
Yeah.
links, both of you. What I also want now, I know both of you incredibly busy, full-time jobs. Ben, you're here with me every week doing this. I would absolutely listen to a music-based podcast with you two as the main hosts. Maybe I'd be invited on occasionally if I've got anything to share, where you just recommend bands to me that I haven't heard of before. I would.
Could we just recommend bands to you just in normal life?
You can do this,
Yes,
but I
do
think
it.
the people need. I would listen to the entertainment factor of you two talking about bands. That description was,
Yeah.
to be honest, if we ever put ourselves in for podcasting awards, that would be the clip I sent. I'd be like,
It's got nothing to do with anything that you...
what horror film are these two talking about? They're not. They're talking
There we
about
go.
music,
This is
which
Ben
came up
Errington.
in conversation.
This is Ben Errington describing Andy Conduit-Turner's podcast voice, buttery,
Buttery.
also
Yeah.
buttery.
And the award, it's a butteriest voice.
It's more like a margarine. It's not, of course. Okay, so after that,
Butter.
so you guys went for a lovely boozy lunchtime rendezvous, and then you reconvened at the Glasgow Film Festival for The American Backyard, which is the UK premiere. It's a movie from Italy. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's half American, half Italian.
Yeah. And I think what you need, Ben, here is the context of this. I think
Okay.
the experience, particularly for the type of film it is, it's very experiential. It's really about the tone and where you are in a state of mind. And the state of mind that Emma and I were in is that we didn't necessarily we didn't go down the Weathers and have curry club and a pint. We went out to the bar at the theatre.
Because I owed
Yeah.
him a beer because him and Karen have me on their Duolingo family plan.
Yeah,
So,
we're family now.
yeah, I'm in his family. And my husband was like, I didn't agree to be part of another family. And I was like, well, this is where we're at. So I owed him a beer. So we'd already had beers
Yeah.
at the cinema. And then
We pointed out, and again, not a mark of quality against the other film that we were watching, but it was about a documentary about a film neither of us were very familiar with. So we thought, I know, we'll just pop round the corner to a nice looking Korean restaurant and get some lovely bowls of dulsop bibimbap. We get some kimchi john, some lovely pancakes, and spit a bottle of soju.
strawberry flavour.
Strawberry soju.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it goes down smooth, doesn't it?
Really fucking does. Really does. Yeah. And also, like, because at FrightFest, there's never really time to go out and get a hot meal and actually just sit down.
And you feel like your nutrients are being slowly drained out of your body with every other mini cheddar you eat.
Realize how important a hot meal is for your like sense of like you need like a hot shower, a good sleep, and a hot meal like to just be a human, I feel like. And yeah, once you get far into a film festival and you stop eating like anything that didn't come out of a packet, you start to go a bit
In FrightFest London, we had like the same breakfast every day, didn't we? Little
You did.
lovely little yogurt pot from Pret. Little banana.
just hastily finishing it, and then you collected up all the rubbish like a dad and put it in the bin.
Did that? I did that. Wait, what?
Literally, I didn't even hand it to you. I finished my yogurt, and you like plucked the pot from me, so you could. I'll just take this to the bin then.
Yeah, I think that's just like my default state, just usually, just because, not just the fact that I am a dad, but also
College leather daddy, as you sometimes are called.
Exactly.
So we had a lovely time.
Yeah.
We did
Just
some
took a short break. That's it. Just one documentary. We were like,
and we didn't completely neglect our journalistic duties. As we were finishing our last glass of soju, a couple came in to sit in the restaurant wearing FrightFest wristbands and were talking about the documentary. So I took the journalistic step of leaning over and asking them what they thought of it. They'd enjoyed it.
yeah, they said it was good. So for the purposes of this review, we will concur with them and say that
It's good.
Was good.
They mentioned it as like an expansion of the Crystal Lake Memories documentary. So you've seen that, haven't you, Ben?
Yes, I have.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, hell yeah.
You'd enjoy this.
I'll enjoy this. I kind of like, I wouldn't mind watching the Final Friday and then this as well to try.
Yeah, that was me. I wanted to watch the film again before I.
Yeah. It makes a great double bill. I did it fairly recently with Return of the Living Dead. There was a documentary about the making of that. I kind of watched that and then the documentary. It was nice.
Wait, well, then we returned.
American Backyard. Sorry, I didn't.
So yeah, then we returned for the American Backyard, which is.
Shall I just say you directed it and maybe do a little synopsis?
Yes, please.
Pupi Avati directed it. Cast: Filippo Scotti, Rita Tushingham, Roberto Di Francesco. So it is a gothic thriller with a tale of absolute fear. It's based on a novel and informed by the infamous true crimes of the Monster of Florence. A troubled young man falls in love with an American army nurse during the Italian 1945 liberation.
I kind of should have known that when I'd gone into it. I didn't know anything.
We should know it was a true story, and maybe, to be fair, maybe the intro that we sort of piled in halfway through mentioned that it was a true story as well. Like the fact that it's a true story based on some real killings has just given me, it's unlocked a whole new wave of context for.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. I would.
What this must be, but like very like stylistically very interesting, like entirely black and white, but also really high contrast black and white as well. So like every line is super defined, like it's very difficult saying in black and white, but it's so bright throughout, right? It's like super high light saturation. It is the story of it follows one young Italian man, the one that mentions falling in love with the woman, but all of the emotions are dialed up to 11. Like it's just him getting his haircut at the barber's when this lady comes in and just asks for a few directions and he gives them to, and like the setup they give, and she's not in the film very long, but like it is that overblown black and white era movie making where this shot of this person, you do believe that people can fall in love instantly because she is portrayed as like this perfect, and he lingers on it. You can see the obsession, an unhealthy one. He's not the baddie of the piece. This love that he immediately feels for her because, you know, it's the kind of person that you'd imagine, like, this is someone who is carved on the front of ships if they lived in the olden days. And, you know, he turns around after giving them these directions and the barber's like, "You're crying." And he is crying. He's like, "No." Sob. And then basically, she steps out of his life, and then it comes in later when he takes a housing exchange to go to America. He happens to live next door to this woman's mother, who is traumatized that she has disappeared. And he promises her that he meets her, that he will try and find out what happened to her. And then he ends up following the case of a person who has allegedly murdered several women in Italy. And he suspects that she might have been another victim. I think that's as much as we can say without doing that. But there's a lot of courtroom drama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both
quite heavy, wasn't it? Was that a large percentage of the running time, would you say?
Yeah. A lot of contemplation.
Based on a real thing, I would have been more into that bit.
Yeah. And there's some bits in the aftermath of the court case as well, and I don't want to spoil it, but there are some gruesome things as well. The fact that it's presented as Gothic horror is really interesting. Yeah, there's some really gruesome. It sort of reminds me of the Black Caravan, the sort of anthology with, like, you know, the amount of time we spend with a dead body for a little bit as well, and they find some Resident Evil Orgy of Evidence notes towards the end that he reads through. There are clues in it, like a 7 or a Zodiac with the ciphers that he's trying to decipher. There's a lot to this film. It's a very dense film, but it is quite it's not particularly long. It's like, what, just shy of 2 hours maybe.
You know how I feel about films that are 2 hours or more.
Yeah, it's not quite that. So Emma didn't walk out.
Arrogant is what that is. If you're going to keep me in the chair for 2 hours, you better have a fucking good reason.
How long is The Brutalist? Isn't The Brutalist like 3 hours 50?
Don't know, but I'll never watch it for that reason.
They were putting like breaks in it, I think. What am I thinking of?
Oh, there's an intermission.
Intermission.
Yeah,
exactly.
To me, it feels like for a film like that that's, 3 hours plus, the only chance of me watching that is, as the director intended, on a tiny screen if I ever have to take a flight that's sufficiently long, because then I'm stuck in a sky jail. I can't go anywhere else. So maybe then, but I don't see that at the cinema.
I thought the music was lovely.
Yeah.
It was really lovely, the score. And I also thought that Filippo Scotti was really fabulous in it, really kind of magnetic.
Yeah.
Like, determined and like nuanced. Like, I thought his performance was really good.
Like some really good, like the prisoner as well, like the desperation in that guy's face, and he looks like haggard and upset.
And when you find out why as well, it's kind of very harrowing.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I think I'm like you, Emma, we said before we recorded. I finished the film and I watched all the film. I'm not sure I understand all the film.
Yeah.
Particularly the ending.
Yeah, the ending, I was baffled. I was like,
I think I understand the identity of the killer. And I understand how that works. And I think I, like the detectives involved, unlike them, I've solved the murders. But I don't understand the end.
We ended up here. Like, why are we here? What? I felt like Jennifer Lawrence on Hot Ones. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Shouting at the rolling credits, why are you there?
And also sometimes, if you've made up something, you get in the asylum for a year because you're mad.
Yeah, instant.
Get in the bloody asylum, will you?
Although, as far as asylums go, they do mention electroshock therapy, but apart from that, it seems pretty nice. You have a friend, you have breakfast.
Still for good behaviour, which is always nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
But it was interesting. I think it was, for us, both of us personally, it was a difficult time to watch quite a ponderous and serious movie.
We had a moment like that in London, I think, which was maybe the film The Funeral, the Turkish film, which was definitely 2 hours plus. And I quite like that film, but it was definitely a point in the day where maybe my stomach was full of something. And
was that FrightFest, or was that FrightFest Glasgow last year, Ben?
Yeah, good question. It might have been FrightFest Glasgow, you know?
It might be FrightFest Glasgow, and we
Yeah,
might
I
have
think-
had a similar situation.
We might have had a similar situation. I think you might have been full of, where do
We might have been to Shake Shack or something.
Shake
So
Sash Burger.
we've been to Smash Burger.
Because I think I looked over at you a few times, and each time you just did a really big intake of breath, like, when's it gonna end? Okay. So
And
next
again,
up,
neither of those bad films, but just like you have to have the right level of energy to watch that. And I think maybe as far as curation has gone, maybe the fourth film of a day
yeah,
is
it's
a
good.
bit
It's my
ambitious.
first film of the day as well. It's difficult, so it's trying to find the sweet spot. Maybe second film of the day.
Second.
Okay, so up next is a film called Scared to Death. It's the international premiere, directed by Paul Boyd, starring Lynn Shay, Bill Moseley, Oliver Paris, or maybe Olivier Paris, who knows. Jasper is a young, opportunist filmmaker yearning to climb the Hollywood ladder. Working as a lowly production assistant, he seizes his chance to be a real director, and he suggests to his cantankerous boss, great use of that word as always, that the crew and actors for their upcoming horror film attend an actual seance for a laugh. Yeah, do you know what? I quite like this, and I already mentioned a character that I kind of liked. A lovely green flag man, beige flag man. Sorry, that might be the right thing to say.
The grog.
Who was like wasn't in the grog.
The grog, yeah.
The grog, and he was like Kid Rock, but not Republican. And well, maybe / 2003, The Undertaker / Life of Justice. Yeah. What did you say?
No, don't be rude, because that's his actual clothes and aesthetic.
Being rude.
Sorry.
That's his
He's got
actual
very-
vibe. He
But
showed
three,
up
The
in his own
Undertaker.
clothes.
So I'm not being rude because 2003, The Undertaker maybe
It's his favourite type.
worshipped the most in my life ever. He came out to
Even
live
though
rolling. He was on a motorbike.
Oh, sorry, I thought I'd got my dates wrong, Ben. I thought you meant the year of Undertaker where his entrance video looked like he was in Sash's Adelante video when he's opening
That's deep.
Adelante.
Deep.
But
No, because you had actual undead Undertaker. Then you had him when he was in like the Ministry of whatever they were called. That was like late 90s. Then you had just American Badass Undertaker.
motorbike
2003.
Undertaker.
Then you had like Default Undertaker, where he was proper ripped. Like he got
That was Adelante
ripped.
Undertaker.
He was in insane shape. He was leaping over the top rope and everything. That was like late 2000s. And then after that, he just reverted back to the dead man. There we go. History lesson over.
History of the Undertaker. Yeah, this one was an interesting one. I'm not sure. Like for me, I think horror comedy. Like
It was very American.
yeah,
Yeah. It was very American, wasn't it? Yeah. It was very American. It was very very over the top, very egregious.
But what was fun to see is Bill Moseley and especially Lynn Shay really chewing the scenery, like having the best time with it.
And maybe in roles that like they wouldn't necessarily usually be.
Well, that's the thing. Lynn was originally being considered for the spirit medium, but she was like, I've done that. I don't want to do it. I want to be the boss. I want to be a bitch boss.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Like, okay, because I think she's a producer on the film and she had like quite a high stake in it. They were like, okay, whatever you want to do. And she
And Lynn Shay, usually nice, usually like a lovely old lady. Sometimes Patrick Wilson will strangle you to death.
And then I
In
guess
this case,
almost.
strangle you to death if you wanted to. I wouldn't mind.
and sing you an Elvis song.
Yeah, go for it.
Right, the theme tune. You get that.
But I think she was loving it in this. You could tell she was having so much fun, and it's always really enjoyable to watch actors when you can tell that they're just having a really good time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think everyone had fun with it. I think what I was trying to articulate was I struggled a little bit with it. It's written as a comedy. It's comedy performances. There are some good comedy performances in it, but I struggled to bang my head against that when the thematics of the ghost is, it's an alcoholic child abuser. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
alcoholic child abuser that
There's
killed some
nothing
children.
more
Or something.
humorous than an
Yeah.
alcoholic who abuses orphans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
So
we were already covered this on A Nightmare on Elm Street last week, Nightmare on Elm Street 4. That if it's a child killer, it's okay, it's humorous. But if it's a child diddler, not human.
Yeah. If it's reboot Freddy, where he's an actual pedo, can't laugh along with.
Oh yeah. Oh, that ruined it.
If he just murders kids, because they are annoying, then that's all right.
Jesus, you say that
You're a child killer in the making.
every opportunity you get. Look at you hanging around in a graveyard.
Well, no kids hang around in graveyards.
Well, no. Good point. Yeah, you've had me there. You've done me
Safe. Perfectly safe.
perfectly safe. Yeah. Sorry.
I've got one observation about Scared to Death, and that is the liberal use of China dolls and dolls of every kind, doll parts, doll heads. There were dolls everywhere.
I reckon
Everywhere.
someone didn't take care of those kids very well. They did buy them a load of dolls.
Toys, didn't they? Scattered through every room.
Bloody ungrateful little kids. You got enough stuff to play with.
Look, you got to eat this horrible gruel I cook you, because I spend all of my money on China dolls for you and whiskey for me. All right?
An horrible bit of gruel.
So basically, maybe his greatest crime. What was the killer's name?
I can't
Oh,
remember.
God. Yeah, no.
Either way, his biggest crime, bad at budgeting.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, everyone in his employ looked very haggard.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty
Probably
fun.
wasn't the same
No, it was-
employee rights as we have now.
It was a fun watch. It's a party watch, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like, this would be my kind of hangout
Mm.
horror film.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. No, yeah. Who knows what I'm saying? Did Cat Hughes, former guest of the show, do the intro as well?
Yeah, she did the Q&A at the back end.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
as well.
There we go. How
And
exciting.
this is Cat
Nice.
posted a little interview with Lynn Shay herself, and she wasn't there. She just
Really? Oh, no, I'm not
did a
Just
did a
trying to
video
down
interview
a
with
look.
her.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, look, Lynn Shay. And then on to the final act, the closing film, FrightFest Glasgow. It was Rumplestiltskin, directed by a one Mr. Andy, not Conduit-Turner, Edwards, who's obviously appeared on the show previously in different forms. Human form each time though. Once an interview talking about a film of his, and then we caught up with him at Fright Fest in London, didn't we? Not last year, maybe the year before it was officially we did.
Yeah, he was there with Punch.
Yeah,
That's
he was there with Punch.
yeah.
We saw him last year, but he didn't have a film there.
No. Oh yeah, so directed by Andy Edwards, cast Hannah Baxter Eve, Adrian Boucher, Jennifer Lim, Joss Carter. A haunting tale of the scariest villain from our collective childhood returns, only darker, bloodier, nastier this time. It's the story of Rumplestiltskin, who's, what is he? A funny...
Horrible little gnomey man.
So he's one of the Fae, isn't he? He's one of the
Yeah, one of them.
folk. Yeah.
He's one of the Fae. And I don't... What happens? I'm reading it wrong. There's so much happens.
I think
A miller
I've told you the story of
attempts to marry his
on
daughter
the
off to
show,
the king
Ben.
by promising she could spin straw into gold, and she with the help of a demonic imp. There we go. It's a task, but he's going, you owe me. He's like a loan shark, basically, and he's, you bloody owe me, and you got to guess my name, otherwise I'm going to steal you.
If you spin a straw into, I think it's about not read. This is a story, a tale as old as time, about not reading the T's and C's, right?
Yeah.
Also, it's
How-
about don't boast.
How the hell spin straw into gold? I know logistically.
Well, he doesn't let you see. He puts
Magic.
Is it like gold, like fabric, or is it just
It was
like
like it was like a twine. It was on one of those, like
Oh, okay.
A spindle,
You know what I mean? Like
It's a reel of gold.
yeah.
bobbin.
Who's going into a place of business and going, I'll buy that with an old reel of gold here. I've got it in twine form.
Well, they weren't complaining when she handed it over.
Melt it down, wouldn't you? Melt it down into.
Yeah, I liked that. This was fun. One, I big soft spot for the story of Rumpelstiltskin. People are going, well, I'll make you the third big plate of gold, room full of gold, but you have to give us your first baby. Okay.
He stepped
Aside,
it
I
up,
looked
didn't
at the baby.
He
Yeah.
stepped it up. He was like, "Oh, I'll do the first one for a cheeky little kiss. I'll do the second one if you strip naked and let me look at you, and then the third one Give me your first Georgia.
Your first boy, baby. Who hasn't been yet?
Incrementally raising the stakes and then doing the old, well, you don't have a kid, but your future kid.
Yeah. In many ways,
we-
though, the
we
way he
make
was
promises like
escalating,
that.
maybe that sideways step is a good one because it was like, oh God, don't say fuck me in the ass, please, Rumplestiltskin. and then it's like,
It's the next logical step after that.
yeah,
No, but he went straight to baby.
yeah.
He's like, nudity, baby.
The thing is, in many ways, this is a guy. This Rumpelstiltskin is like anyone who's app dating over 40. It's like, look, I need to know how soon we can have a baby if this is going to work
I
out.
don't know time I am, mate.
Yeah.
Me
Like, it's
isn't for much
transactional.
longer.
I bought you dinner. Now give me a baby.
Yeah, I have spun this room of gold for you.
Yeah.
Arguably,
No,
that is more than a Nando's.
I sent you a picture of my ... Please respond. It's basically
What
it's...
did you think of it?
What did you think?
Do you like me? Tick yes or no.
Oh, what did you think of it? It's the best one I've seen today, actually. Yeah. Great. Cheers.
I will say though that Joss Carter's rendition of Rumpelstiltskin had the potential, you know, if you miscast that role, you could fuck the entire film. And this Joss Carter was so good. Like his physicality and the choices he was making about how he was moving around the space and like how he was using his voice. He perfectly managed to get kind of a voice that was beguiling but untrustworthy, but not so untrustworthy that you weren't going to listen to what he was saying. Like, so well done, I thought. And the prosthetics were great, like for the budget, which didn't have been massive. And on that note, a period piece with a low budget has the
Yeah, I
potential to
know.
look fucking shit. And this looked really, really good, I thought.
Yeah, I really liked it, and we have when we were chatting to Andy, well, not a spoiler for you, Ben. It's not too long before this is going to be more broadly available. I don't know if we can say dates. Yeah, but it's going to be available soon-ish. We were chatting to Andy in the cinema,
Yeah.
and we're going to try and get him to come on to talk about it a little bit before it comes live. Having a little interview with him about it. So
We gave you a verbal agreement. I was there.
did.
So if you just renege on that, just I can.
It doesn't strike me as a renegger. But yeah, we hope we will get him on to chat about it because it was, I thought, an interesting film. And the one little tidbit he was able to give us is Chris Mills, who plays the boyfriend character. You may also recognize him from chatting with him and Annabella Rich about The Death of Us that they're working on together. He was a last-minute replacement. He was meant to be on. He was only meant to be on set for a couple of days, and he was gonna have basically an extra part and do a couple of lines. But the actor playing the role had a scheduling conflict at the last minute and couldn't make it. And it so happened that he fit the costume. So and I think he really does wonders with it. I think he really leans into it really well.
I feel like if you're a film role, like was at stake and you had to fit in a costume, you'd be
Kim Kardashian that shit.
Yeah, you'd have a purge, wouldn't you?
you'd be whichever way you had to go, you'd either be cutting like hell or just
You'd basically
yourself,
look up like Christian Bale diet for insert film here. Is it machinist? Is it
an apple and a tin of tuna, and it like I don't know if that's a day or a week or what. Crazy.
a black coffee and some cigarettes, or when you need to then bulk up for Batman.
Fox diet, that one.
Oh God.
I will say, I think this is my favourite film that Andy's done.
Yeah. I think I've seen most things he's done now.
I've seen Ibiza Undead. I've seen.
I've not seen
Punch.
Ibiza Undead.
I've seen this.
I did like Punch, though. I did like.
He says there's a sequel in the works as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did see that. For Punch. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I don't know. I like Punch. I think it was the reason I like Punch is because we chatted to the cast afterwards. Everyone was so lovely, and like there were so many like recognizable faces in it, like
Lauren from Hollyoaks.
Laura from Hollyoaks. Yeah, of course, and someone else from EastEnders, maybe. I don't know. Sorry, I've forgotten now. But yeah, It was good. It was good, and this was good
Yeah,
as well.
but I really liked Rumpelstiltskin. I think because the story, I don't know whether if it translates overseas, but I certainly think for us in this country, everyone knows Rumpelstiltskin. You'll get Rumpelstiltskin growing up, right?
My favourite kind of skin.
Yeah, Rumpel.
What are the guesses? I know I said this last week. What are the guesses for his name that they go through initially?
Gary. Sorry,
Gary. No, the Spindleshanks is one of them.
Spindleshanks is one.
Spindleshanks. Old.
Oh, and I love it. And there's like
rot.
it's my brother's name.
It's just like it gets mildly offensive after a while. They go, "Oh, ugly, stinky old prick," and he is, "Oh God, no, you're just making fun of me now. I see what you're doing. You've wasted a guess."
I also love that. I also love that Rumpelstiltskin, like all of us, regardless of how good, bad, or indifferent those people are, especially when it comes to baddies, he also has a boss that is
Yeah. A relentless boss breathing down his neck, micromanaging him to spill
me. You only brought me one baby in the last decade. You need to really.
Have you still another baby yet, Rumpelstiltskin? Stop saying my name. I'm pretty sure I might have given it away by singing a song about it.
Playing the fucking long game of give me a kiss, now get naked. Maybe you just went straight to baby. You got 3 babies off of that woman.
Yeah. Have you got a baby? Have you kidnapped a baby yet? No, I haven't, but I've got one on the way. Oh, she's pregnant, is she? Well, not yet, but she's promised me that in the future she will be.
If she happens to become queen of this country.
Yeah, there's too many. Yeah, it is insane.
Like with all medieval stories, the psychopathic king, a far worse villain than Rumpelstiltskin, arguably.
Literally. Oh my God. Like, one thing I like about Andy's stuff is he's not afraid to, like, really show, like, misogyny and stuff like that. Like, I feel like he's quite he's not afraid to bring that out. And I agree, like, the first wife of the king is decapitated because she gives birth to his daughter instead. And I was like, holy crap. And he was just like, the worst guy. Like, fucking hell, I'd rather hook up with Rumple than that fucking king.
Yeah.
God, no redeemable qualities.
I mean, let's be fair, the real daddy, if you're dating in...
It's that knife that's, like, in cahoots with the king, right? That guy.
Oh, I was thinking Rumpelstiltskin's boss.
Oh, yeah, for real, yeah.
Oh, like Goathead and Demon of the Forest.
Raw energy.
Yeah. I think Sauron, as much as he has a hard exterior, if you were if you were bringing him enough babies every so often,
yeah.
If you were hitting your KPIs, I reckon it'd be very fair.
God.
So I think in order to increase his baby returns, he needs to skip straight to baby rather than incrementally increasing it, and he needs to maybe have a more difficult.
He's thinking work life benefits there, isn't he? He's thinking see some nudity, get a little kiss
on the job, yeah.
Then think about perks on the job.
This is Rumpel's problem, though. This is why he's at best a mid-tier. Yeah, he's a mid-tier employee. He's not performing so badly. He's going to put him on a pip, but he's never going to hit a promotion. He's never going to be a senior demon, is he?
How do you think he feels about you calling him Rumple? Is that allowed?
Actually, I call him Rumpy, but I did feel like that was appropriate to bring to the table to emasculinate him.
Rumpy.
He failed twice to take down Hannah Baxter Eve. Rumpy Puppy.
Oh, Rumpy.
I also love, and I don't want to spoil this bit, but I love how we do the story of Rumpelstiltskin that we all know, and then we basically have a fourth act, which is totally new. I really enjoyed that. And as you mentioned, like Emma, like Andy's not afraid to have the misogyny and the unpleasant, as was the attitude at the time, those characters. But I really like what he does in our fourth chapter with, I'll just learn to read then, shall I? And I will actually move this story along and progress as a character. I really liked it.
Yeah. There we go then.
That's everything. I know Andy has pointed out to everyone that The Substance was
Oh yeah.
the closing film at FrightFest London. Now an Oscar-winning film. Who knows?
Yep.
What we'll see
Who
for
knows?
Rumpy.
Oh, Rumpy, exactly. The sky's the limit.
I mean, corporate synergies, Rumpy versus Punch anytime soon.
Oh my god, Rumpy, but they're in different times.
Rumpy versus
again,
Punchy. Time Machine.
but
Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpy knows the future.
So Rumpelstiltskin, having been punished by his micromanaging
It's
boss,
frozen in carbonite.
is sealed in the underworld until modern era, and then he comes back in a time when misogyny is rife once again, next door to misogyny's poster boys, misogyny's own Mr. Punch.
Punch, yes.
Oh my god, yeah.
Pitch it to Andy if he comes
Hello,
up.
Andy.
A crossover.
So, Andy, right, we were talking about
Get the DM right now.
and
Andy versus Jason, Rumpy versus Punch.
Rumpy versus Punchy.
And I really feel like, in many ways, Rumpelstiltskin, having had time to reflect, might emerge the hero in this one, Terminator 2 style.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't feel like he was all bad, or maybe I just fell for his
He
bit.
could do I won't do his voice, but he could do a proper, like, come with me if you want to live bit. And then,
hobbling around, like. But then, like, you have to give him something for him to get you out of there, like a gold earring or a ball.
let's have a look at you naked for a few minutes.
Yeah, a tit. Get you out of there. Just a nip slip for him.
Yeah.
God, it's enough. It's enough.
It helps you to put any up to it.
Flash.
And then, like,
Body flash.
Punch could be chasing after him, and he could quickly spin some gold like a cheese wire that can go across the top and, like, have his head off.
Or throw the straw down and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Like it's micro machines.
Yes.
Oh, I'm all up for this. Rehabilitate Rumpelstiltskin. But of course his weaknesses in the modern era, every fucker knows his name.
Yeah.
Google it. Yeah. Well, he'd maybe change his name by default.
Yeah, like he's the
Like he's one of Elon Musk's.
what a far you beat me to. I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out.
It's written like but it's pronounced like tin.
Yeah. Okay. That's FrightFest Glasgow. Should you pick a favourite? I know we usually do some awards, but let's just pick a favourite each. And move on with our lives.
Yeah. Are we allowed I think my choices might be obvious. Are we allowed a short as well, Ben? A short and a feature,
course
please.
Yeah,
What you want? Have a short, have a...
And you can choose what you think your favourite short will be when you see them all.
I'm going to watch Pumpkin Guts if it's available online.
Probably going to be favourite.
Is it-
Emma, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
My favourite was The Last Sacrifice. I really enjoyed that. And my favourite short is Pumpkin Guts, all the way.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Delightful.
I liked The Last Sacrifice an awful lot, but I'm going to give my favourite film to watch, I think, especially as we've just reflected on it, Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpy Forever.
Oh, Rumpy. Rumpy.
Yeah. So Rumpelstiltskin, probably my favourite film, and then I'm joining Emma on the Pumpkin Guts, my favourite short.
Yeah. What am I going to say? I feel like out of everything, the one that held my attention the most, that's not to say that everyone else didn't hold my attention, but I was entertained by Scared to Death. I liked the sort of ensemble cast nature of it. I liked Lynn Shay doing something a bit different. I liked Bill Moseley doing something a bit different. And, it was a bit generic in places, but I still was entertained by it, and I enjoyed it for the most part. So, yeah, let's go for Scared to Death. For me, I think the Doombusters might be a close second, just because it was an unexpected treat. Whereas, I don't know, I wasn't sure what to expect. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah, good time.
I didn't watch any shorts though, so let's choose Pumpkin Guts as well to round it off.
And I think in our usual A to F ratings, pluses and minuses are allowed. I'm going to give the friendship we had along the way, Ben, an A+. And no pressure to have the same score, but I love
because there's always room for improvement. Is what I'll say.
We could have had 2 bottles of soju, I guess.
You could have done. You could have been asleep for the rest of the festival. That would have been great. You could have been nudged awake on a Sunday morning.
Or you could have been that person that's like head back snoring in the cinema.
Oh God, yeah. Can you imagine that?
That's why you have to lean forward and lock in when you're getting tired.
You don't want to do it. Oh man. Okay, there we go. Well, that was fun discussing all that stuff. Thank you for joining us, Emma. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Hopefully catch you in the flesh at FrightFest London.
Oh, you will.
Maybe.
I mean, not in the flesh like naked, but I will be there in an earthly form.
Don't sell yourself short, Emma. What if you're on the second night of needing some straw weaved into gold?
First day, I'll say, "Oh, Emma,"
and one of our listeners rocks up and
have a little kiss.
Could I have a
kiss? Second one. Could I?
No, he went for the lips. He didn't do this.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah. Took his mask off and everything.
Oh yeah, face like a stuntman's knee. But Emma, where can our listeners find you online to keep up to speed with everything?
Gunship Discord, then.
Yeah, I'm just mostly on the Gunship Discord these days.
Yeah.
I'm also on TikTok at EJ Cownley. And I think that's the only place I am because I left Twitter for obvious reasons.
I'm sorry that I keep tagging you all over the place. I don't know where to officially tag you. I could stop that if you want.
I mean, no, you can. It's fine. I am on Instagram, but I'm not like on Instagram. I just have an account so people can tag me.
Places you can find Emma: TikTok and Instagram occasionally.
Yeah.
My Duolingo family. Don't forget, I know you've got under an hour to do a lesson today. Better get on with it.
Oh God. No pressure.
Yeah.
And then obviously in the Gunship Discord.
Yeah, those are mostly the only places. But obviously, your family is a closed private group. Well, I thought, but apparently you just invite anyone to join.
Yeah, Willie Lilly. He's already invited 5 people he met at FrightFest Glasgow.
There are 4 members of my Duolingo family. It's me, my wife, Emma, and our friend Mary Kate. We are the language learning family of tomorrow.
And I feel so privileged to be in that family, honestly.
And of all the family, I'm assuming you're the big bondage daddy in this family role.
No, that space is reserved for you, Ben. If you start learning a language,
there we go. I'll learn a language. What could it be?
Yeah.
Who knows? I'll learn Italian so I can watch American Backyard without
getting tired.
I was locking in, going, I remember what my Italian lessons. There we go. But of course, hopefully join us for an episode before FrightFest. It's miles away, long time away. So
yeah, come and join us anytime. It's always a delight.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Right. Let's wrap it up. What have we got? Thank you everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a Patreon at horrorhangout.com/Patreon. No, the other way around. I haven't got it in front of me. This is the first time I've ever done this. Ever.
Just watching you get it from your mind palace.
Patreon.com/horrorhangout. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast and Rusty Quill for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. That would be nice. We're on Fred's, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Or go on horrorhangout.co.uk and you'll find everything in one place. Very nice. Next week, Nightmare City with Gene Dolders. He was on the show recently, in being interviewed about his movie, The Blade Cuts Deeper. So, looking forward to that.
Yeah, see if some nightmare. Hang on, that's a Jalé film. It's in Italian. Get ready to lock in.
Yeah, exactly. Watch the dubbed version because Jalé films dubbed are fantastic. They really are. I mean, most of them are anyway, right?
I feel like now it's going to have like a psychological effect, and it'll be, a bit like if you ever hear an actor who read you bedtime stories when you were a kid, you hear them on the telly now, it's like, or if anyone ever leaves Formula One on telly for too long, straight to sleep.
Oh God. Oh yeah, there we go. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you very soon.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.